He was the #1 overall pick in the 2004 draft. Eli Manning begins his 8th season with the Big Blue. Manning threw for over 4,000 yards last season and 31 touchdowns, but his goal to get the Giants back into the postseason. While Eli has immediate goals, Cam Newton is the future for the Carolina Panthers. He was the #1 overall pick in the 2011 draft. Panthers coming off a 2-14 season. But after the lockout and a short training camp, everybody's smiling because football is back.
It is time to get back to football.
NBC 4 New York presents New York Giants preseason football.
The New York Giants begin their run to the 2011 season in Charlotte as they take on the Carolina Panthers as they kick off their 2011 preseason schedule. Hello again, everyone. So glad you could join us for New York Giants preseason football on NBC 4 New York. I'm Bob Papa with former Giants great Carl Banks. The New York Giants are coming off a 10-6 season. Good by most people's standards, but a league-high 42 turnovers sabotaged the Giants' playoff chances. Much has been said about the Giants' lack of moves in the offseason. They've made quite a few changes. They did sign David Boss, a center from the San Francisco 49ers, and they kept 1,000-yard rusher Ahmad Bradshaw. What about the wide receiver position? Hakeem Nicks and Mario Manningham combined for 20 touchdown receptions last year and 2,000 yards. Steve Smith, former Giant wide receiver, earlier this week, Carl, signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. So now the Giants have to find the next guys. Is it like trying to find a needle in the haystack?
Well, no. They have guys on the roster that have had experience. Dominic Hickson was a contributor before his injury. He took a year off. Now you come back with a young guy, Victor Cruz, who continues to impress. You've got Michael Clayton and then Devin. So you have a lot of guys who can really make a difference at the third position.
Yeah, Devin Thomas, former star at Michigan State. And don't forget Jarrell Jernigan, who the Giants drafted out of Troy. Meanwhile, on the other side of the football, Carl, you know the Giants are strong up front with their pass rush, and they've got a very good secondary. But the question remains, the linebacking core, where do they get the impact plays from?
Well, they're going to have to be on the roster. Matthias Kiwanuka, another guy who can be an impact player, has to continue to develop. Clint Centum is another player who they're expecting to make a bit of a difference. And then you have the two young players, too. You have Jones, the draft choice, moves well, looks like a linebacker. So we'll see. And then Jaquan Williams, a very explosive guy, but he needs experience, Bob.
And one of the guys in the mix, Clint Centum, will not play this evening. Well, what does the head coach think about all this? Earlier this evening, Bruce Beck caught up with Tom Coughlin.
Tom, only 11 practices before this preseason opener. Do you have any idea what to expect tonight?
Well, I think I do, but it could change quickly, obviously. Hey, everybody's in the same boat. You know, we've all had, and last year I would have had 20 practices before the first preseason game, so we have half of those practices. And so, you know, we're throwing it at them as fast as we can, but obviously they haven't had a chance to play and perform. But that's tonight, and hopefully we'll take full advantage of the opportunity.
How long will you see your starters tonight?
They'll go 18 to 20 to 21 snaps, something like that, yeah.
What will be the quarterback rotation after Eli?
Well, we plan on going with Sage Rosenfels, and then we'll use Perleau later on in the game. We'll probably save David Carr for next week.
Will we see both Weatherford and Dodge in the punting area?
We will. They'll rotate.
Is there an opportunity here for a lot of guys to really make their presence felt, Tom?
Well, there always is. That first preseason game, we have, I think, around 80 players here. We'll try to get them all in the game with a few exceptions, so there's plenty of opportunities.
And the evaluation begins. Steady rain over the last 2 hours here at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know, earlier in the preseason, Kevin Boss signed with the Oakland Raiders. So as we send it down to the field and welcome in former Giant tight end Howard Cross, the question is, how do they make up for that production?
Well, that's going to be really tough. The Giants are really searching right now. Travis Beckham's their go-to guy, but he didn't make the trip. Then you have Jake Ballard. His guy's a good player, big kid, but they don't know what he's going to do yet. He hadn't had a lot of playing time. Opposite of him is going to be Bear Pasco, the guy who's actually starting at fullback, but they're going to need him at tight end today. Think about this. The entire left side of the offensive line also changed. You got Will Beatty, who's going to play left tackle. He's got some experience, but he's not the guy that they wanted there maybe from last year. They wanted this big, brawly guy. He's getting a lot of practice. He might be that guy now. Also, David Deal, left guard. He was tackle last year. Now he's guard. And Boss at center, replacing Sean O'Hara. They've changed a lot on the line. Let's see how they play tonight.
David Boss was a second-round draft pick in 2005. The San Francisco 49ers played all 16 games last season at center for the Niners. And Giants head coach Tom Coughlin told us earlier today that the communication is getting better with David Boss. Is, you know, trying to learn a new language. Carl, you got a center who's got to make calls, but the one good thing he's got going for him is he's got a Pro Bowler in Chris Snead, who is right, and he's got David Deal, who's been in the system, to his left.
You're absolutely right, and Boss is a guy who's had some experience, but communication, speaking and learning the new language, Bob, is going to be the key for that exchange between quarterback and center.
Brandon Jacobs fired up for the start of the season. Jacobs had 823 yards in rushing last year. And there's Ron Rivera. Spent the last couple of years as defensive coordinator in San Diego. Also as a defensive coordinator during the Bears Super Bowl run in 2005 in Chicago. Got his coaching start in Philadelphia under Andy Reid. Finally gets the head coaching job he's craved. Carolina will receive the football first. Eighth-year pro Lawrence Tynes will kick it off. Mike Goodson back deep for the Panthers. Remember the new rule. The kickoffs have been moved to the 35-yard line. The coverage team can only line up 5 yards behind where the ball is placed for the kick. Now, Carl, we've seen it a bunch of games so far in the preseason. You want to get your kickers to knock the ball in the end zone for touchbacks. Giants head coach Tom Coughlin told us today, let's get a gauge of where Tynes is kicking the ball, then we'll adjust off that.
Yeah, he may even, later on in the game, see if he can get him to hang a few off.
Goodson, 8 yards deep, is going to run it out. Goodson out to the 22-yard line, so he made a good decision. And Greg Jones, the rookie out of Michigan State, made the tackle. 30-yard return. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. Brought to you by Ford. In his second year out of Notre Dame, Jimmy Clausen, the starting quarterback. He was 1-9 last season with the Carolina Panthers. 3 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I had a chance to do a Panthers game late in the season when they played at Pittsburgh. And Carl, their offense was so inept. Clausen had nobody to throw the ball to.
Yeah, he's struggled in this offense, and maybe the change will do him some good.
Working in motion, Greg Olsen, the former Bear, as Clausen will throw on first down, and Clausen completes it to Brandon LaFell into Giant territory. Kenny Phillips on the tackle, a gain of 34.
You got a simple slant here, Bob. The linebacker got out there, but the corner safety was shallow getting over there. That was the key. Kenny Phillips had to take a better angle.
Michael Boley missed in the passing lane, so a 34-yard pickup. D'Angelo Williams on the carry, and Chris Canty drops him for a loss of 2. As we take a look at the rest of the Carolina Panthers on offense, a group that needs improvement. D'Angelo Williams missed 10 games last year because of a foot injury, but signed a big contract with the Carolina Panthers. Legadou Nene signed recently from San Diego, and former Giant Jeremy Shockey signed as a free agent. Up front, good group with Gross, Wharton, Khalil, Bernardo, and Otal. Second down for the Panthers. Williams running left, tackled by Goff. And a loss of about a half-yard on the play. We take a look at the Giant defense. We saw Chris Canty make a play. Tom Coughlin talked about how well he's played in the preseason. Linval Joseph, the second-round pick from last year, has to fill the shoes of the departed Barry Cofield, who's now with the Redskins. Kiwanuka will start in the base defense at linebacker. And the secondary should be a strength of this team with Webster and Thomas at the corners, Phillips and Roll at the safeties, Ross in a nickel position, and eventually they'll get Prince Amukamara back, their first-round draft pick. 3rd and 12 for Clausen on the first series of the game. Under some pressure, intercepted. Michael Boley's going to go for the Giants' first touchdown of the preseason, 55 yards.
And that's a big start for Michael Boley, a guy who they expected this from when he got here, a guy who can play well in space, and that's just a good disciplined drop there, read the quarterback's eyes and made the play.
Well, the Giants forced 39 turnovers last year, and Boley in the right spot here.
Yeah, he just dropped back into the zone, late rush there, but that's just good discipline by him, seeing where the guy was.
Yeah, Jason Pierre-Paul got good push into the face of Clausen, and then Boley stepped right in front of D'Angelo Williams for the pick 6.
Big play by Boley. That's a good start for him.
So the Giants score on defense. Lawrence Tynes for the extra point. Sage Rosenfels to hold, and Tynes knocks it through. So on the first series of the preseason, 2011, the Giants get a touchdown from their defense as Michael Boley goes 55 yards. Clausen was under pressure. Tom Coughlin loving it. Good start by his defense here in Carolina. Well, Michael Boley was signed in 2009, 86 tackles last year and a sack. But, Carl, not a lot of impact plays for the Giants like the one we just saw, the 55-yard interception return for a touchdown.
Well, when you have a complete group working together, it will allow him to do what he does best. He's a space player. He's a run-and-hit guy, Bob. And you saw up there in that zone coverage great anticipation and an explosive break to the ball. But this is a good start for him because he did not have a lot of big plays last year. He came on at the end, though.
Tynes with the kickoff. Goodson will run it out again from about 3 yards deep. Goodson gets hit at the 15 and runs out of a tackle. It finally gets tripped up across the 25 to the 29-yard line. I think Greg Jones again got a hand on Goodson.
Well, that's what they're expecting. If he's going to make the team, he's got to play specials. Now, he was a 3-time All-American at Michigan State, and boy, this has got to be new to him. I don't think he ran down on kickoffs in at least 3 years at MSU. Understands what it takes to try to get on this roster, and Jaquan Williams is another guy who's down there pretty fast too.
So Clausen, after the 31-yard completion to LaFell on his first snap of the game, throws a pick 6. Panthers 1st and 10. Williams grabbed by Canty and dropped. So Canty gets a tackle for a loss and then minimizes that run. And Tom Coughlin told us today, Carl, that he really is liking what he's seeing out of Chris Canty so far in this camp.
Well, Bob, he's a tall guy, can play with leverage, and he's got such a wingspan. Look at him there, just spread those wings, come off the block and make the tackle.
He's working on Travell Wharton, the 8th-year pro out of South Carolina. Chris Canty, 38 tackles last season and a sack and a half. 2nd and 5. Clausen with some time now feels pressure, tries to check it down to the fullback Tony Fiametta, and the pass incomplete.
Giants didn't get a lot of pressure there. It looks like Clausen's got a bit of happy feet, his first live action here. Giants bring a guy late, but it doesn't look like they got a lot of pressure on him. He got a little happy feet. The pocket was pushed a bit by Joseph, but wasn't accurate with that one.
So 3rd and 5. Tom Coughlin's defense on a 3rd and 12. Got an interception return for a touchdown on the Panthers' first possession. Clausen out of the gun. Giants with pressure and sacked by Jason Pierre-Paul, the 2nd-year pro out of South Florida. So good pressure by Paul, Carl, in the first 2 series of the Giants defense.
You know, this is what they're expecting from this defensive line. They have great depth, great speed, and they can get a push on the inside of the defense. Now, that was Paul going inside just to come back out. Very athletic guy.
Terrell Thomas was happy about it. Jason Baker, the 11th year pro out of Iowa, the punt. Jarrell Jernigan, the rookie from Troy, back deep. Baker with a good high punt. Jernigan with some room from his own 24. That closes down fast as he gets tackled after a 2-yard return. Jordan Sen on the tackle. Jason Pierre-Paul has gotten some pressure on Jimmy Clausen. Hit him a couple times. This time he gets the sack. Giants in front. Jason Pierre-Paul has a sack. Giant defense has a score. And Michael Boley's 56-yard interception return for a touchdown. Eli Manning will start at quarterback in his 8th year out of Ole Miss. 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns. The starting lineup brought to you by Ford. The key number for Manning, the 30 turnovers that he had. That's a number that has to be corrected. He'll throw on 1st and 10. Get some pressure and then dumps it at the feet of Bradshaw. Everett Brown got the pressure on the quarterback as we take a look at the Giants starting offense for this evening. Bear Pascal will be at fullback. Mario Manningham and Akeem Nicks. Nicks with 11 touchdown catches last year. Jake Ballard, practice squad player last year, starts at tight end. Will Beatty will start at left tackle. David Deal moves to the guard. New Giant David Voss at center. Chris Snee and Kareem McKenzie on the right side. So 2nd and 10 from the Giants 26. Bradshaw, the tailback. Manning will throw. Nicks the reception. 1st down out to the 40-yard line. C.J. Wilson on the tackle after a gain of 14. Giants get a nice pickup to Akeem Nicks as we take a look at the Carolina Panthers on defense. No Charles Johnson. He injured his shoulder the other day. $72 million contract extension. The linebacking core, Pro Bowler John Beeson out tonight. Dan Connor and former Eagle Omar Gaither starting in place of Thomas Davis. Check out the best-selling vehicles in America. Drive one at your Tri-State Ford dealer. Bradshaw on 1st and 10 run with plenty of room into Panther territory. Sherrard Martin on the tackle after a gain of 16.
Another good point of emphasis there. The Giants' inability to run the football at some times last year. Now they seem to be coming in with that emphasis in mind. They're going right off the right side here. It is a little counter, and he's through the gate there and explodes. And it's a two-headed monster with these two guys there, Bob. Both speed, both power.
The only thing that kept Bradshaw from having a great year last year was the 6 lost fumbles. He'll take it on 1st and 10. Can't get change of direction going, and he gets tackled on the spot by Corvey Irvin. Maybe a loss of about a half-yard.
It's never a good sign when you see the offensive lineman near the guy who's tackled your running back. That was Will Beatty there, getting pushed back a bit, and he's right in the cutback lane.
The communication so important on that offensive line. And with Rick Soybert hurt and released and Sean O'Hara, it's a new configuration for the first time in a while. Jake Ballard on the catch, tackled by James Anderson, gain of 8. Ballard, a practice squad player for the Giants last year. Giants fans, join me for a live Twitter chat to discuss the first half by following @Giants on Twitter and using #GiantsChat to submit your question. Looking forward to hearing from the fans at the half. 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Giants with a defensive touchdown and the lead. Dominic Hickson in the ball game, lined up to the bottom of your screen as Manningham goes in motion on a 3rd and 3. Manning overshoots Nicks, who had a step on R.J. Stanford.
Put a little too much on that. The intent was right. If he hits him in stride, that's a touchdown. Beats him off the line with a good move there. He's just got to drop it in there. Too much zip on that one. You know, know, these are the things that they missed during the offseason, the mini camps and things of that nature.
How about this? The Giants are going to try a 55-yard field goal with Sage Rosenfels to hold. Lawrence Tynes coming off a great year last year. He hit 19 of 23. Tynes from 55. Does it have the distance? And it's no good. Came up just short. Probably might have been good from about 53. But just a little bit short in this rain here in Carolina. You surprised they didn't go for it on 4th down?
Well, they wanted to try something.
Snap was good, the hold was good, but Tynes didn't have enough from 55. Giants by 7. Giants get a defensive touchdown on a Michael Boley. 56-yard interception return for a score. Giants with a 7-0 lead over Carolina. Giant drive stalls in Panthers territory as offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride looking at the Polaroids. Jimmy Clausen remains in at quarterback for the Panthers. This is his 3rd series. He'll throw on 1st and 10. Screen, D'Angelo Williams in space. Gets a block into Giant territory. And finally shouldered out of bounds by Antrell Roll. Gain of 14.
Let's take a look at the replay, Bob, and you'll see where Matthias Kiwanuka's linebacker instincts have to come into play. This is a screen pass. He was kind of stuck in space. He loses leverage, goes inside the block, and D'Angelo goes outside. He's got, when he reads pass, he has to get out into that area right away. Don't waste time. And that's going to come with experience. He's a guy that has played with his hand down throughout his career.
Second time Panthers are in Giant territory. Williams skips through the hole and now shows the speed. Williams inside the 20 and finally run out by Kiwanuka and Roll. It's a gain of 19.
D'Angelo Williams is a guy he only needs a crack to get through it. And it looks like they got the left side of the Giants defensive line pushed out and overran by Jonathan Goff, overran the play there.
And then Corey Webster got caught inside with contain, and Williams bounced it to the outside. So Carolina in the Giants red zone, 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Clausen to throw, zips it toward the end zone and caught for the touchdown. Greg Olsen. Newly acquired in a trade from Chicago out of Wayne, New Jersey with the touchdown for the Panthers.
Looks like the Giants have some different defensive backs in there now.
Yeah, that was Tyler Sash, the rookie out of Iowa.
Yeah, it looks like he looked a bit out of place there. Now, keep in mind, Bob, these young rookies didn't have any offseason with the team, so these are on-the-job training drills here for them.
So Greg Olsen gets the touchdown for the Panthers. 15-year pro Olindo Mare converts the extra point. So the Panthers march downfield and an 18-yard touchdown pass. Clausen to Olsen. Panthers and Giants tied at 7 in the 1st. New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York. Brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories and maximum Pepsi taste. The official soft drink of the New York Giants. And by MetLife. MetLife brings you closer to your favorite team. Go to MetLifeCentral.com to find out how. Greg Olsen wasn't happy with the way he was being utilized in Chicago. Mike Martz, the offensive coordinator, doesn't really use the tight end as much in the passing game as maybe Olsen is suited for. Nice pickup by Carolina. He scores an 18-yard touchdown from Jimmy Clausen to tie the game at 7 against Tom Coughlin's Giants. Olindo Mare will kick off. Bounces it to Jernigan from the 4. Jernigan hit and dropped by Charlie Martin at the 23-yard line. Now it's time for tonight's keys to the game. Carl, brought to you by Nissan.
Well, number one, Bob, staying on sides. That's always a true sign when the new offensive lineman comes in there. And then you got the wide receiver auditions. Who will step up for the number 3 wide receiver? Which punter emerges? You know, Dodge has had his struggles, so he's got to get consistent. And then for the Carolina Panthers, you got a new coach. He's got to work on his game mechanics.
Giants signed Steve Weatherford as competition for Dodge. Bradshaw on the carry gets 2. Nissan's bottom line sales event, tremendous selection, great offers, bottom line savings. Visit ChooseNissan.com or visit your local dealer. That's the keys to the game, brought to you by Nissan. So the Giants trying to get some momentum going here offensively. Their first offensive possession stalled in Panthers territory. And Tynes attempted a 55-yard field goal that was a little short to the right. Manning under pressure as they try a wide receiver screen. And he got knocked down by Siona Fua, the rookie out of Stanford.
Yeah, they had a blitz on there, Bob, and they didn't get a hand on anyone. Looks like the entire right side just kind of gave way. It left a bit early, and he went right over where the pulling guard was. Having the right blitz call for the right play.
So 3rd and 8 for Manning, who's 2 of 5 for 22 yards. From the Giants 25. Has time, checks it down underneath, but DJ Ware is stopped at the 30-yard line, short of the first down. C.J. Wilson got the hit on him along with James Anderson.
Well, looked like they had it all covered down the field, and he had to go to the check down. DJ Ware has to try to make one guy miss.
Matt Dodge will get the first turn. 7th round draft pick from last year. Averaged 44.8 a punt, but the net only 34.3 with 1 block. Middle of the field, Armonte Edwards now outside the numbers at the 15. Trying to make people miss. Edwards reversing his field and runs out of a tackle. Edwards up to the 30. Edwards knocked down at the 36. Zach Diassi made the tackle. So the punt by Dodge, returned by Edwards, who worked his way along the sideline and then turned something out of nothing. Tied at 7 here in the first. Well, Carl, Matt Dodge's 54-yard punt was outside the numbers, but Michael Coe
loses leverage here, Bob. He's got to get him pinned in, and everyone else should be coming from that direction. He just outruns everyone on the coverage team. They lost leverage.
Michael Boley also missed a tackle, so it was a 20-yard return for Edwards off the 54-yard punt. Clausen 3 of 5, 65 yards with a touchdown and an interception, and a flag on a 1st and 10.
Ball start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty is still first.
Mackenzie Bernardo, the right guard, called for the penalty. Mike Carey is our referee this evening. Carl, this is one of the games in which they continue the experimentation of using a deep judge. They have an 8th official on the field.
Yeah, the officials are lining up in 2 deep back there. Looks like they're playing cover 2.
Competition committee trying to find ways to keep up with the speed of the game and the proliferation of passing. On 1st and 15. Clausen under pressure, chased by Rocky Bernard. And Zach Diassi with a nice catch on the Giants bench. Bernard and Canty got the pressure.
Good job on the outside of the defense there. The cornerbacks didn't go for the quick hitch there. They locked right in on their guys, and Clausen had nowhere to go with it.
Rocky Bernard, signed by the Giants in 2009, was let go this summer in a salary cap move and then brought back. Bernard last year in 14 games, 18 tackles and 2 sacks. 10th year pro out of Texas A&M.
Big body on the inside.
2nd and 15 for Clausen. Jonathan Stewart hit by Terrell Thomas, runs out of Bernard tackle and dives ahead across the 41-yard line. Gain of 8. Jason Pierre-Paul finally got him to the ground. Carl, let's talk about tackling, because we asked Giants head coach Tom Coughlin about that with the new practice rules today.
Well, the next time they do it, it'll be the first time they did it. They can't tackle live, and here you'll see there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. 5 missed tackles on one play, and they had him at the line of scrimmage. So this is their first live contact, and it shows.
Tom Coughlin, we asked him about where the tackling might be. He said, oof. Clausen chased by Tuck, and Canty completes it to LaFell for a first down as a flag comes in at the 39. Did LaFell step out of bounds and then become the first player to come in and touch it? It's a gain of 19, but pending. So Mike Carey will sort it out.
If he didn't step out, there was no one near him when he caught the ball there.
Illegal touching. Offense number 11 went out of bounds, was the first to touch the pass. 5-yard penalty to a third down.
Carl, let's take a look at it.
Take a look. Here he is up here. Gets jammed. They're playing a little cover 2 there. The safety's off.
Steps out of bounds with the left foot, comes back in. Giant coaches were pointing it out immediately. So the play will come back. It'll be 3rd and 12 for the Panthers. 3rd offensive possession for Ron Rivera's squad. Interception return for a touchdown by Michael Boley on the first possession, and Clausen threw a touchdown pass to Greg Olsen from 18 yards out. 3rd and 12. Clausen will run with it, slides at the 40, and he's short of the first down.
Giants have a player down there too.
Jason Pierre-Paul slow to get up. Jason Pierre-Paul with a sack so far, and he'll hobble off. It started raining around 6:20. Rain heavy during some of the pregame warm-ups. We've got a light rain falling now here in Carolina. So on 4th and 8, Jason Baker will punt. Terrell Jernigan back deep. His first return went for 2 yards. Jernigan at the 14. Across the 20 as flags come flying in on the return.
Looks like may have raked across his face mask there.
A preliminary call for the officials. Legal block in the back.
Yeah.
Mike Carey will give us the guilty person.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 26. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Penalty is on Antrell Roll, as Jason Pierre-Paul got shaken up on the last defensive snap. Grab a little something to drink on the bench. Let's take a look at the penalty right there. Antrell Roll. Not a lot, but was the block in the back. Carl, Giants head coach Tom Coughlin told us wanted to get the starters between 18 and 20 snaps. I would think for this starting offensive group, they'd really like to maybe finish off their first game experience with something positive. The first drive that they had took it into Carolina territory, but Manning missed Nix on a 3rd down, then a 55-yard field goal fell short to the right.
Well, and here's an opportunity too to practice the offense with their backs to the goal line. This is their elephant group. They have all big people in here.
Manning sends Ballard in motion on a 1st and 10. Bradshaw on the carry, slips through 1 tackle and finds about a yard or 2. Charles Godfrey on the initial hit. Let's take a look at tonight's quarterback comparison, brought to you by Citibank. Both quarterbacks 3 of 6, but Clausen has 65 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. That interception returned by Michael Boley, 56 yards for a touchdown. What's your story? Citi can help you write it. Learn more at stories.citi.com. Of course, Clausen a holdover from the John Fox regime. Cam Newton will see action tonight. 2nd and 9 for Manning. Draw for Bradshaw. Bradshaw takes it out to the 15, but swarming defense there by the Panthers. James Anderson on the first hit and tackle.
Well, the Giants, the first play they had one wide receiver. This play they spread them out with a 4 wide receiver look and tried to run it. Not much success there.
Bradshaw goes out. DJ Ware comes in.
It's all at the point of attack for this offensive line. They've got to get physical in order to allow these backs to do what they do best.
Play clock down to 4 as Manning gets his team set. Just gets the play off on a 3rd down. Lobs it down the left side. Nix can't hold it. Incomplete. R.J. Stanford on the coverage.
Looked like R.J. Stanford got his hand in there right at the correct time. This Nix off the line of scrimmage, gets a step. Yeah, wide receiver got his hand in there and distracted him just a bit. Not enough for the official to call it, though.
Manning wanted a flag, no flag. Steve Weatherford, who spent the last 2 years with the Jets, to punt. Edwards back to his own 35. Edwards again on the return. Edwards chased down by Coe inside Giant territory.
More missed tackles.
56-yard punt, but a 26-yard return with 2:11 to go here in the first quarter.
Here's one missed tackle.
Adrian
2,
Tracy, Zach
3,
Diassi, Tollefson.
4.
And then Coe finally tripped him up and got him down.
You get 5 shots at a guy, you better be able to get him down or else it spells trouble.
So Clausen and the Panthers will start at midfield. Jonathan Stewart on the carry. Jonathan Stewart tackled by Goff. And Pierre-Paul, gain of 3 as we send it down to Howard Cross.
Guys, the thing you're noticing here is on the defense and on special teams, they're not ready to tackle yet. They haven't got their bodies in position. Not having live contact will do that. It's going to take a week or 2 for them to work themselves in position to get ready to break down when the ball's coming at them.
Well, let me ask you this, Howard. Carolina's punted twice, and the Giants have about 4 yards of punt returns on 2 punts.
Hey, they have, but you know, the Giants really took a lot of time leaving guys out of practice. A lot of practices without pads.
2nd and 6. Clausen sacked by Pierre-Paul, his 2nd here in the first quarter.
Bob, Jason Pierre-Paul has what they call in this business a tremendous motor. I mean, he just keeps working and keeps working. You'll see him here, and he just keeps working. This guy gets pushed by, keeps running, never gives up on the play, and makes a sack there for a huge loss.
So he has made his presence felt here in the first quarter with a couple of good pressures and a pair of sacks. 3rd and 15 for Clausen and the Panthers in a 7-7 game. Has some time, checks it down underneath. Legadou Nene with the catch. Boley with the tackle, well short of the first down, and the Panthers will have to punt for a 3rd time here this evening.
Another good play by Michael Boley there, and these are some of the small things you see. A guy who's disciplined enough to play deep to short as a linebacker, not biting.
Giants head coach Tom Coughlin has called the timeout. The wind currently is at the Giants' back as we take a look at the ribbons on top of the goalpost. And he wants to get a couple of offensive snaps with the wind at his back.
Well, you know, he's got to get some reps in here that are productive. The offense has been, I don't want to say inept, but they've struggled to have consistency thus far.
And he also wants Baker to punt into the wind and give Jernigan a chance to return it, as opposed to having the wind at his back and possibly kicking it into the end zone for a touchback. Jernigan's first return went for 2 yards. Good high punt by Baker, and it'll travel into the end zone for a touchback anyway. With 38 seconds to go here in the first quarter in a 7-7 ball game. check in on the sideline with Bruce Beck.
Hey, Bob, Jason Pierre-Paul has been a monster so far in this game. And remember, last year he became the first rookie in Giants history with at least 2 sacks in consecutive games. He did that late in November and early in December. And he came into camp this year more comfortable. And the thing you have to remember about Jason Pierre-Paul, he didn't really play until his junior year in high school. So this guy still has a lot to learn. He played at 3 different colleges. He is in progress, as they say, and he is very much a force for the Giants.
Manning will start from his own 20 on a 1st and 10. Has plenty of time. Manning's pass from Manningham knocked away nicely by Robert McClain, second-year pro out of UConn.
Boy, he got out there late on that one, Bob. He's got to commit to that pass. It just kind of hung out there. He's surveying the defense. He sees one, and then he just puts it out there. And boy, that's not, he's got to get it out there a little quicker.
Manning 3 of 8 for 27 yards with 27 seconds to go here in the first quarter. The Giant touchdown came via the defense. Brandon Jacobs in a tailback. Manning throw on 2nd and 10 will run it instead and slides out across the 25 to the 26. Gain of 6 on the play. Hugo Chinasa, the rookie out of Oklahoma State, with the tackle.
I've had Brandon Jacobs in on a couple of plays there. Didn't give him the ball running. He was more of a blocker and a check down receiver.
And that'll be the end of the first quarter. The Giants will face a 3rd and 4 when we start the second. Preseason underway. Michael Boley got it started with a 56-yard interception return for a score. Jason Pierre-Paul, a pair of sacks. Greg Olsen with a touchdown. We're tied at 7. We start the second quarter in Carolina. Giants with a 3rd and 4 from their own 26. They'll run a draw play to Ware. He will not get the first down. And the Giants will have to punt the football away. Carl, it's been a rough start for this Giant offense, considering the fact that the Panthers are missing 5 starters from their lineup tonight, including their 2 starting corners. Giants 0 for 4 on 3rd downs.
Well, yeah, Bob, and here's the thing. When it's all said and done, this will serve as kind of the bar. It sets the level for where the offense has to go from here, but clearly you would expect that they would have a little more success against a team with so many starters out.
Matt Dodge with a high punt. This time Edwards calls for a fair catch at the Carolina 30. 42-yard punt, no return. We'll take a timeout here in the second quarter. Panthers, Giants tied at 7. A 2-14 record last year earned Carolina the #1 overall pick, and he wears #1. Cam Newton comes into the ball game last season with Auburn and winning the Heisman Trophy, 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. 6'5", 248 pounds. He's 22 years of age. Carl, not an ounce of fat on him. And he is the future here. Clausen just 4 of 7, 69 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and 2 sacks. So Cam Newton, the future for the Panthers with his first snap. They'll get him in some space. Checks it down to his tight end, Olsen. Gain of 11 and a first down.
And the crowd shows their appreciation to Cam Newton. There's a little play action pass there, and he got the entire second team group of linebackers. Yep, here's Newton, just a play fake there, and he rolls out. Great mobility, throws the ball in stride.
The only Giant starter that's still in the ball game is Chris Canty. Giants have brought in all of their backups. Aaron Ross in the ball game along with Dave Tollefson. Newton on a 1st and 10 for Olsen, and the pass incomplete as he ranged high for it. Kenny Ingram on the coverage. Ingram, a first-year player out of Florida State, spent time in the practice squad. Carl, Tom Coughlin talked about Kenny Ingram this morning.
He did. He's a guy that they want to see if he can make a contribution. Now, keep in mind, the second team of this defense they're all important, especially the defensive backfield and the linebackers. Ingram, they want to see if he can really step up.
Giants have Gerard Tarrant and Tyler Sash at the safeties. Adrian Tracy, Ingram, and Philip Dillard, the linebackers. Goodson on the run across midfield. Michael Coe on the tackle, gain of 11.
There's a look there, a little counter play there. Cam Newton fooled them all, and there he squirts out there. The defensive line all got washed down on that.
Canty now checks out of the ball game. Rocky Bernard comes in with Linval Joseph. Alex Hall is at one defensive end for the Giants, along with Dave Tollefson. As Newton will work out of the shotgun set. Little reverse. David Clowney, the former Jet, inside the 40, chased out by Tollefson. Gain of 12.
You know, this is a real interesting set of plays that they're running for Cam Newton, allowing him to get into a rhythm, keeping the offense in motion, if you will. Bootleg, reverse, counter plays, play action pass.
Newton even threw a block on Tollefson. Not enough to stop Tollefson from helping to get him out of bounds. David Clowney was signed last year. Spent a couple of years with the Jets. Newton will work over center on a 1st and 10 at the Giant 38. Plenty of time. There's the rifle arm. Completes it to the 10-yard line. To Olsen.
That was on a rope, Bob. I mean, that ball zips out of there on a rope right on its intended target. There's no air under that one.
Just beat Tyler Sash to the inside. And a great zip on the ball by Cam Newton. 30-yard pass play. So Newton's completed 2 passes for 41 yards. 1st and goal from the 9. Goodson hit by Sash, stopped after a gain of 1. Linval Joseph also fogged things up in the middle for the Giants. Linval Joseph, 2nd-round pick out of East Carolina last year, appeared in just 6 games. He's got to fill the shoes of Barry Cofield, who signed with the Washington Redskins.
Well, you know, this is kind of a mismatch. The Carolina offense, 8 first downs, and the Giants just 2. Here they are in red area. Here's an area of the field they have to get better at. Here's an opportunity for reps.
2nd and goal from the 8. Newton to the end zone, knocked away nicely by Michael Coe on a pass intended for Brandon LaFell.
Newton was late on that one. They gave him looked like a little wildcat fake there. He could have pulled that one down and ran it. A little reminiscent of his college days there. A little tuck it in and a little late on that one. Boy, you wish he had that one back.
Newton 2 for 4 on the drive for 40 yards. So it'll be 3rd and goal for the Panthers as they bring D'Angelo Williams into the ball game. And now he goes in motion to the top of your screen. Spread set. Newton to throw. Zips it again. Incomplete. Intended for LaFell. Tyler Sash on the coverage again.
Tried to fit that one in there real tight as well. Not sure if that went off the receiver's hand or Sash got a hand on that one.
So an ovation for Newton as he goes to the sideline. And on a 4th and goal, the Panthers will send out the field goal unit. And you see the arm strength of Cam Newton. That's why he was the #1 overall selection in the 2011 draft. Mare will try a 26-yard field goal with Jason Baker to hold in his 15th year out of Syracuse. Spent last year with Seattle. Operation is clean, and Mare knocks it through to give Carolina the lead at 10-7. So Cam Newton engineers the drive. Zipping the ball downfield. Smile on his face for the #1 overall pick as the Panthers lead by 3. 10-7 lead over the Giants. Bob Papa, Carl Banks back in Charlotte. So the rookie out of Troy finding that it's not as easy as the college game returning kicks. So the Giants, who have done very little offensively, will send Eli Manning and the offense back out onto the field with 10:39 to go in the second quarter. Just trying to get something positive. The opening drive for the Giants was pretty good, but a missed pass on a third down and Hakeem Nicks stalled that drive. Since then, Carl, they have not been able to get much done offensively. Only 2 first downs so far in the first half.
Yeah, it looked like they were kind of in a grab bag trying to find plays, and that's not good. In the preseason, you've got to start to establish some consistency, work on this offensive line, run game, pass protection, route running. They've just got to keep grinding it away, because keep in mind, they didn't have mini camps. Well, none of the teams did, but this is the area where you want to see the Giants with their running game really try to get some things going.
Now it's time for tonight's Facts of the Game, brought to you by Time Warner. And these two teams last met in the first regular season game ever in the new Meadowlands Stadium. Hakeem Nicks with 3 touchdown catches in a 31-18 win last year. Tonight's Facts of the Game brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Be sure to tune into NBC4 New York for all your Giants preseason football coverage. Carl, the running game's been a little bit bogged down. I would guess some of that could be attributed to the fact that you've got a new center. The left side of your line is reconfigured, and you're trying to find a tight end that's going to fit in this mix. Yeah,
but you know, basically none of these teams game plan with just 11 practices. It's man on, like the 9-on-7 drill. Beat the man in front of you with your basic call. So this is where the Giants are really going to have to buckle down and get better.
Brandon Jacobs in at tailback. Jake Ballard goes in motion on a 1st and 10. Jacobs will get the carry, and he'll run right. Jacobs across the 20 to the 25, and then gets knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
Well, that's positive news there for the offense. Getting Jacobs there, he's running to his right. He had a big play there. Wide open alley there for him to run through. That's good blocking, good execution.
Jordan Pugh is the one who knocked him out of bounds. Pascal could not get out there far enough to get the block on Pugh and spring Jacobs for more. Nicks to the bottom of your screen. Manningham to the top of your screen. On a 1st and 10, Jacobs again. Not a lot of room, and they'll get knocked back for no gain on the play.
Yeah, they had 8 in the box on that one, Bob. They had them all expecting to run, and Brandon tried to cut back and didn't have anything on the backside of the line there.
Brandon Jacobs last year, 5.6 yards per carry. That was 2nd best in the National Football League behind Jamal Charles of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Interesting, and you would never know it because he gets criticized so much.
Jacobs goes out of the ball game. DJ Ware comes in. 2nd and 9. Screen for Ware. Looking to pick up a block out across the 35. Will be wrestled down just short of the 1st down marker. Gain of 7. Sean Constantine, the former Philadelphia Eagle, last year with Jacksonville, made the tackle.
See if the Giants try to short yardage offense and get some movement in the run game. Here's another area you really can't practice with your own guys, Bob, but it always appears in the game when you need a short yardage play to kill the clock. These are the important reps.
Giants 0 for 5 on 3rd downs. Jamon Meredith comes in as a eligible. Brandon Jacobs back in on this 3rd and 1. Jacobs will take the carry left. Jacobs will not get the 1st down. Omar Gaither and Jordan Sen on the tackle. So, Carl, they went strong left, and they could not get the yard they needed.
And they need to be able to get that with Jacobs' size. They got someone coming in there late, but they've got to be able to get an initial push up front, and Jacobs can do the rest. But if you get to his legs before he gets going good, that's where they can't be effective.
You saw the frustration on Tom Coughlin's face as Steve Weatherford and the punter, alternating punters, Weatherford and Dodge. Weatherford sends it outside the numbers toward the sideline, and it drifts out of bounds. And let's see where the official marks it. He walks up the far sideline and spotted out at the 24-yard line. So a frustrating night for Eli Manning. And the offense not able to get anything going. Giants have failed on all their third down opportunities. 0 for 6. Carl, let's take a look back at the Giants' offensive struggles and Eli Manning here in the first half.
Eli's on the run there, drop ball under duress. There's one he lays too far out for Hicks. Another one he throws in the dirt due to pressure.
Yeah, the one to Akeem Nicks, that was on a third down. That was the Giants' first drive of the game, and things were moving nicely for them. So second series now for Cam Newton, who led the Panthers to a field goal under pressure, and he's going to get planted back at the 15-yard line. Rocky Bernard got the sack. Adrian Tracy got the first pressure, Carl.
Yeah, and Adrian Tracy, Cam Newton saw him. He's reading the blitzer and not looking down the field there. He saw it all the way. He's like, whoa. He has to get down there, and that's, you know, lesson number 2 for Cam Newton. Now he's seeing something a little different. Got a little blitz action there.
Kind of took his eye off the snap as Adrian Tracy was lurking in a blitz position. Third sack by the Giants. 2nd and 17. And as Newton takes the snap, we get a whistle and a flag.
Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty, still second.
And that is one of Cam Newton's teammates from Auburn, Lee Zimba, called for the false start. 7th round draft pick out of Auburn. Playing on the right side. So Carolina has shuffled their offensive line a little bit with Zimba in. Duke Robinson is in. Giants second team defense in for their second series. 2nd and 22. With just under 7 minutes to go here in the second. Little draw play to Goodson. Goodson hit and drop, fumble the football. It's loose. And did the Giants pounce on it? Alex Hall comes away with the football, and the Giants force the turnover. Second turnover forced by the Giants as Goodson coughed it up. There's a flag on the play as well.
Let's see who makes this play.
Goodson got a crease to his left.
Offense is declined on number 72. First down.
Tyler Sash, who's got picked on a little bit tonight, but also made a couple plays in the end zone. The rookie 6th round pick out of Iowa forces the fumble.
That's a good play by him. Now, the thing on him coming into the league is that he has the ability to make big plays and has a nose for the ball. Now, in coverage, that's where he has to continue to develop.
Sage Rosenfels comes in for the Giants at quarterback. So Manning's frustrating night is done. Beatty stays in at left tackle for the Giants as they've shuffled the offensive line a bit. Rosenfels to throw behind Victor Cruz and incomplete. R.J. Stanford on the hit.
Let's take a look at this and see if Cruz got his hands on it. He clearly got off the line of scrimmage well, and it looked like he took his eye off the ball there. It looked like it hit him right in the gut there, Bob.
Cruz had that unbelievable first game against the Jets. Placed on injured reserve last season with a hamstring injury. 2nd and 10, Renard in motion. Ware on the carry, and Ware gets a yard, and that's it. Mitch Petrus in the ball game at one of the guard spots for the Giants. Ike Chaku and Dukwe in at the left guard position. Kevin Booth is in at center for the Giants. So other than Will Beatty, the rest of the starters are out. 3rd and 9 at the Carolina 21. 6 minutes to go in the half. Giants down by 3. Rosenfeld's out of the gun. Throws it off. Pass complete. Bear Pascal well short of the first down. That's a gain of about 3 on the play. Omar Gaither on the tackle.
And the struggles continue on 3rd down for this Giant offense.
0 for 6 in the ball game. So Lawrence Tynes, who came up just a bit short, a little to the right from 55 yards away, will try a 37-yard field goal from the right hash to tie this game up. Rosenfels to hold. Snap is good. Kick on its way, and he missed it. Hooked it left. So Tynes is missed from 55 and now 37. And the Giants with a rough first half. Tom Coughlin not happy here in the first half in Carolina. New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York is brought to you by Ticketmaster. Buy and sell real Giants tickets at NFL Ticket Exchange, powered by Ticketmaster. Visit NFL.com/ticket exchange. Back in Carolina, NBC4 New York brings you New York Giants preseason football. Bob Papa along with Carl Banks, Howard Cross, Bruce Beck. Panthers have scored 10 in a row, a 10-7 lead. Cam Newton's 3rd series. He's under pressure, gets sacked for the 2nd time. Alex Hall gets the sack. Adrian Tracy with pressure again.
That's what they want to see out of Adrian Tracy. Wanted him to step up at this position. He's taken advantage of his opportunities there. Kept contained on the quarterback. Allowed the inside rusher to get to Newton. Took a lot to get him down, too.
Well, Cam Newton's actually bigger than Alex Hall, who tackled him. He outweighs him by almost 10 pounds. 4th sack by the Giants tonight, the only bright spot for the Giants. Newton on a 2nd and long. Screen for Goodson. Goodson gets a block. Goodson gets cut down at the 30-yard line. It's a gain of 11 on the play. Philip Dillard, 2nd-year linebacker out of Nebraska, on the tackle.
Take a look here. Giants had a little inside twist on and lost contain on the pass there. Good hustle down the field, and there's Dillard coming over to make the play, preventing the first down.
Panthers 0 for 5 on 3rd downs. Giants 0 for 6 from the 30-yard line of Carolina. 3rd and 7 for Newton. Newton to the middle of the field, low and incomplete, intended for Legadou Nene.
Yeah, he looked a little off on that one. His first series, they had a lot of motion in the offense, and he was more accurate. Now, just as a setback passer in the pocket, he wasn't as accurate.
Jason Baker into punt. Jarrell Jernigan back deep. Giants have not gotten much out of the return game so far this evening. Short punt. Jernigan from the 26. Jernigan out to about the 32-yard line and then gets caught in the wash after a 44-yard punt. Alex Hall has one of 4 sacks for the Giants in the first half. New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York is brought to you locally by Infiniti. Luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Back in Carolina. All right, that's part of the preseason. He is in his 2nd year with the Giants, practice squad player last year. So look at that last name, Carl.
Yeah.
All right, so Iyanga Akpak-Oworak. He doesn't have an A in his name, but he has A sounds. Akpak-Oworak. Played his college ball at Duke. Part of the fun of preseason football, getting all the pronunciations down. 1st and 10 Giants from their own 32. Rosenfels. Dominic Hickson out to the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 12, 13. First down Giants. Good to see Dominic Hickson back after suffering that knee injury last year during minicamp.
Yeah, and he's coming out of the slot. The Giants are looking for a slot receiver. He came off the edge there, but it's good to see him back and running routes. Strong receiver and a very good contributor, very versatile.
Giants picked him up via waivers in 2007, a key contributor to his football team. DJ Ware takes the handoff into Panthers territory. Payne and Jordan Sen on the tackle, but it's a gain of 6 for the Giants.
Payne and Sen. Interesting names for football.
New York Giants offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride trying to find the right plays here in what has been a rough first half for the Giants offensively. 2nd and 4 from the 49-yard line of Carolina. Rosenfels behind Hickson, incomplete. R.J. Stanford on the tackle. Well, Giants fans, join me for a live Twitter chat to discuss the first half by following @Giants on Twitter and using #GiantsChat to submit your questions. Carl, I'm going to guess I'm going to take a few questions about the poor offensive performance. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I would say that's a high likelihood.
My guess is they're not going to want to ask me questions about Jason Pierre-Paul's 2 sacks or the fact they forced 2 turnovers. The last one, though, the Giants missed the field goal and didn't convert it to points. Giants 0 for 6 on 3rd downs, 3rd and 4. Rosenfels completes it for a first down to Hickson. First conversion for the Giants. Nice catch by Hickson.
It is, and he's a big, strong receiver and didn't give ground on the first down marker. He was able to muscle himself in there. Here's a look at Hickson. He doesn't get pushed off his mark. He's a big, strong guy.
Just beat Robert McClain to the inside. So a good catch and conversion by Hickson. And the Giants get a fresh set of downs, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning here in Carolina. Well, the Giants have forced a couple turnovers, got a bunch of sacks, but only 7 points on the board, down 3. Panthers lead the Giants 10-7. 2-minute warning here in the first half. Hey, Giants fans, track the Giants with NFL Mobile. Text NFL to 8915 to get NFL Mobile only from Verizon, the official wireless provider of the New York Giants. Sage Rosenfels, 3 of 5 in this ball game for 20 yards. Giants signed David Carr after the lockout. They have Ryan Perrilloux also on the roster. Just asking Tom Coughlin today, in a perfect world, he'd like to keep 2 quarterbacks if possible. It gives you much more roster flexibility, Carl, to keep an extra DB or a linebacker or a receiver, offensive lineman. David Carr spent the last 2 years in San Francisco with the 49ers, spent 2 years with the Giants. 5 of 13 last year for 67 yards and an interception. Carr will not play tonight. Carr will play next Monday night when the Giants return home against Chicago. Perrilloux will get the 3rd turn tonight.
They really want a competition for the backup. Carr knows the system and functioned well in it, but you know, having the backup quarterback has to be able to run the offense as if, you know, he were there as a starter all alone.
Rosenfels doesn't want to lose a roster spot as he hits Hickson again for a first down to the 26.
That's a good job of him throwing the ball right in the window there. Hickson, that's a good timing route.
Carl Rosenfels is scheduled to make more money than Carr would, who signed as a veteran minimum, so you could save money against the salary cap. Well, last year was an uncapped year in the NFL.
Yep.
Blitz on. Rosenfels gets sacked. First sack of the ball game for the Panthers, and it goes to Jordan Pugh, second-year player out of Texas A&M. Now the Giants will use their 2nd timeout. They have 1 remaining.
It's a late blitz there out of the defensive backfield. Now Rosenfels has got to keep his guys alert. When you start to get close to the red area, that's where the blitzes start to come. He's got to remind those linemen. You know, you talked a little bit about the salary cap. Is the backup quarterback a position where you want to look to save money instead of getting the best guy there?
Yeah, not if you're going to keep two. You need to have the best guy, but let the competition play itself out, because they're both veteran guys. Jamon Meredith is in at left tackle, and Dukwe is at left guard. Booth is at center. Petrus is at right guard, and Stacey Andrews, 9th-year pro out of Mississippi, is at right tackle, the brother of Sean Andrews, who was let go by the Giants once the lockout ended. 2nd and 18 from the 33. Ware on the draw, nowhere to go, as he gets plastered at the 30-yard line. Thomas Williams on the tackle. Williams, a second-year free agent out of USC. So 3rd and long for Rosenfels and the Giants. Ware on the screen. Ware inside the 25, gets to the 20, but that's 4 yards short of a first down. Stanford on the tackle. With 55 seconds to go, and now Carolina has called a timeout.
And that's still not a first down. I mean, still not a conversion on 3rd down.
Well, they made one earlier on the catch by Hickson on this drive, but only one conversion. So Lawrence Tynes, who missed from 55 going the other way, just a hair short to the right. And then after the Giants forced the fumble, Tyler Sash forced the fumble, and it was recovered by the Giants. Tynes missed a 37-yarder. He hooked it left. This one will be from the left hash mark. Carl, you know, sometimes when you play golf and you hook one drive, you tend to overcompensate and push the next one. Tynes will try this one from 38 yards. Rosenfels to hold. Kick on its way, and he puts it inside the left upright to tie the game at 10 with 53 seconds to go in the first half. Well, Dominic Hickson, a key player for the Giants on that drive with a couple clutch catches. For more on him, here's Bruce Beck.
Hey, Bob, he's coming off knee surgery, but he feels 100%. We asked him about coming back after missing all of 2010 with a torn ACL.
Me being out a year, you know, with my injury and not being able to play was just devastating, just because of everything I missed and kind of missed a year of football. You never know how blessed and fortunate you are until it's taken away from you. It's just going to be real emotional for me.
Everyone asks me, he says, if I still have my speed. I think I'm proving that on the field. He's got 3 grabs in this drive, and Hickson, in his first game in 13 months, making a pretty good showing. Bob and Carl?
Yeah, you know, it's good to see him come back. He was injured during minicamp last year, and he's been a very good return man for the Giants. Reliable guy. He's a good guy, Carl, in that locker room. Well-liked by his teammates. And, you know, with the injury that Steve Smith had last year and then him signing with Philadelphia, he's currently on the PUP list with the Eagles. The Giants need other guys to emerge, and Hickson feels that he's ready to play that role behind Manningham and Nix. Goodson on the return. Run him out from deep in the end zone and takes it out to the 26-yard line. Carl, you know, sometimes it happens in mysterious ways, and we'll take a look at the new Meadowlands Stadium. The Giants were having a mini-camp workout, and he just stepped the wrong way.
Yeah, and that's kind of the breaks of the game, and, you know, it's good to see a guy like that make it all the way back and really vie for a spot on the roster and maybe for that 3rd wide receiver position.
Well, the good news for him was it happened in May. It gave him a lot of time to recover, unlike, for instance, our buddy Richie Soybert, who played great for the Giants last year, but he got hurt in the last regular season game. The window of recovery just becomes smaller. Gary Barnage on the catch, missed tackles, and he takes it out to the 44-yard line. I think Philip Dillard had one of the whiffs, Carl.
Well, yeah, and I think you had Aaron Ross out there who should know better as well. You got guys, Aaron Ross just didn't wrap up there, and then there's Dillard. You know, your big linebacker, you got to bring your body with you. These guys, you know, this is from lack of contact in practice. But, you know, as Coach Coughlin said, he's going to find out. Everybody will find out right away where they are.
Hey, as Coach Coughlin told us today, look, the opportunities start tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't have an offseason to evaluate, guys. You've got to do it not only in the practice field, you got to perform in the games. Carolina calls a timeout, and obviously guys like Jason Pierre-Paul tonight with a couple of sacks. Yep. Sash bounced back, made a couple nice plays. Good pressure by Adrian Tracy when you take a look at some of the things that have happened defensively, but missed tackles, not good for guys if they want to make his team. Let's take a look at tonight's new faces of the game, brought to you by Toyota. And he was the first overall pick, won the Heisman Trophy. Cam Newton, back on December the 11th, led Auburn to a national championship, and then was selected #1 overall in the April 2011 draft. Get incredible deals during Toyota's nationwide clearance event going on now. Newton 4 of 8 for 70 yards here in the first half. He's going to air it out for Martin. Can't make the catch. No flag on the play as Brian Witherspoon was there step for step. Little contact, but no flag.
Yeah, I think both players there had they were hand fighting there all the way down the field. It's probably pretty tough for an official to say who's wrong there. Look, they're both stiff-arming each other.
Well, I think the reason why is because right there, Martin sticks out his left arm to try to get separation. Yep. Witherspoon that gets his hand on him, and my guess is they're saying, hey, you're both committing fouls. We're not going to throw a flag. Because you can make the case either way. Newton, middle of the field, wide open Edwards. Tackled by Coe in Giant territory with 25 seconds to go in the first half.
Yeah, he's too open on that one. It's got to be a blown coverage there, and Newton throws it right in the window there. But, boy, you have a guy that open in a 2-minute drill that far down the field. Someone had to be out of position here. You got Ross here who lets him go. He lets him go to no one. Should be a safety back there somewhere.
Gerard Tarrant, a rookie out of Georgia Tech, was the safety in that area. But Carl, looked like Ross was sort of in a zone, right? I mean, he turned him loose.
Yeah, he turned him loose, and the safety's got to be over the top there. And I guess he stayed on the other side of the field or in between the hash marks.
So after the Giants get the tying field goal, Carolina has it at the Giants' 21. They're out of timeouts, 27 seconds to go in the half. Newton for Barnage, incomplete. Tarrant on the coverage. So that's 2nd and 10 for Carolina.
See if Carolina does something to get Cam Newton on the move here to try to get the ball in the end zone before this half is over.
Tyler Sash and Tarrant are the safeties. Now Ross rolls back to the safety spot. Newton again. And Carl, you know, you're seeing there with Newton a little bit of what you'll see out of a rookie. A little throwing off the back foot right there and releasing the ball.
He was very comfortable early on when he got into the game, and then the blitzes started to come and the dynamics started to change a bit. There he is throwing a frozen rope. You know, blitz comes, he gets a little under duress and drops another one in there on a blown coverage. So he's been hot and cold. He had a great first series, and then they started to change the dynamics for him, and so did his performance.
Coe and Sash made a couple nice knockdowns in the end zone for the Giants. Newton again, middle of the field, had Edwards, but incomplete. Ross on the coverage.
Off the back foot again. Starting to revert back, feeling pressure.
Newton 5 of 13 now for 106 yards.
He senses pressure. Didn't get into that one.
So Lindo Mate will come on and try a field goal of 39 yards with 14 seconds to go here in the first half to give the Panthers the lead again. Snap is good. Plenty of leg by Mare, and it is good. So Carolina answers the Giants' 3 points with 3 of their own. Good drive by the Panthers, utilizing their timeouts. And with 11 seconds to go in the half, they have a 13-10 lead. Well, dominate your fantasy football draft with Roto-World's online draft guide. The player rankings, custom cheat sheets, and 400-plus player outlooks, all updated in real time and printable for draft day. Go to NBCSports.com/RotoWorld for more. 7 plays, 54 yards on the drive. They needed only 42 seconds. And they get the 39-yard field goal. Newton missed Edwards on that last pass play, the third down play. Jimmy Clausen threw a pick 6 to Michael Boley to start the game. Give the Giants a 7-0 lead as he talks with Cam Newton. But Clausen did throw a touchdown pass to Olsen. See Mike Shula, the quarterback's coach. Derek Anderson signed, former Cleveland Brown and Arizona Cardinal. 2 young guys, all numerically in line too, 1, 2, and 3. And that's how they'll probably shake out on the depth chart.
I believe Anderson will push Clausen. You know they're both placeholders until Cam Newton's up to speed, though.
Lindo Mare to kick it off, and Devin Thomas caught it and went out of the back of the end zone. Not bad for a 15-year pro. Lindo Mare kicking it out of the back of the end zone, albeit they've moved the kickoff up to the 35.
And that's the thing, you know, the coaches want to see if their kickers can kick it out of the end zone or at least put it deep in there with a 5-yard plus to their advantage.
Coming up on the United 4 New York halftime report, Bruce Beck is joined by Howard Cross. They'll have first half highlights and a look back at the 25th anniversary reunion of the 1986 Super Bowl champion Giants. That was certainly a fun weekend. Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick were back. And it all ended with the Giants Foundation golf outing in Westchester and a great dinner. And a lot of guys get a chance to revisit themselves. And make sure you go to @Giants via Twitter. We'll answer some of your questions coming up at the half. And Bruce and Howard are getting ready for the halftime report. Well, the Carolina Panthers and New York Giants kicking off the preseason. Cam Newton's debut, Michael Boley with a touchdown, Greg Olsen with 1, 4 sacks by the Giants, but the Panthers lead by 3.
United Airlines presents the NBC 4 New York halftime report. United, proud to fly the New York Giants.
Halftime at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the Panthers lead the Giants by a score of 13-10 at the half in the preseason opener for Big Blue. Bruce Beck along with Howard Cross, who spent 13 years with the Giants. And we have to start, Howard, with the Giants offense, which really didn't get anything going for most of that first half.
Well, you know what? They didn't get a lot going. You got some new guys on the offensive line trying to figure out their positions, what's going on. They started out the first drive, they looked good, but Eli couldn't hit Hicks going down the sideline. That was a little bit strange. The other thing I noticed is that they don't have that off receiver right now. You know, you got Hicks, you're looking for him a lot. Manningham's really got to step up his game. That's a lot to do with time and no offseason, no OTAs.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights of the first half with the Panthers leading by 3. And let's begin with Michael Boley, who made a pick and went 56 yards to the end zone.
Does a great job stepping in there, catching the ball. That's the thing we thought he was going to do when we picked him up the first time from Atlanta. We thought he was going to make plays like that.
Jason Pierre-Paul had 2 sacks early.
You know what? First round pick, you get a guy that's high with the motor and athletic ability, you expect to see him do it all the time.
Jimmy Clausen bounced back from that INT with a touchdown pass to Greg Olsen, a Jersey product.
Wayne, New Jersey right there. He does a good job getting open, standing right on the end zone. Clausen did a great job delivering the ball real quick.
And then Elvis came into the ball game. Cam Newton, this place was absolutely rocking, and he did some good things early on.
I tell you what, man, I hate to say this, I'm an Auburn guy, but he's got a laser arm right there to Olsen. Great throw. He does a good job with his feet also. They said he wouldn't be able to take the snap. Big guy. Look at the linebackers jumping on him to take him down.
Welcome to the NFL, Cam. So after a solid start, he struggled a bit. Here's a look at the first half numbers. Carolina 208 total yards. The Giants with only 131.
Well, what we got to see out of the Giants is a little more consistency, but you got a lot of young guys going to come into the game. And as Coach Coughlin said earlier, it'll be organized chaos. At least that's what he hopes.
Coming Coming up on the United Halftime Report, we'll take a look back at the 25-year reunion of the 1986 Super Bowl Giants. United is proud to fly the New York Giants. We'll be back.
Welcome back to the United Airlines NBC for New York Halftime Report. United, proud to fly the New York Giants.
Carolina Panthers lead the Giants 13-10 at the half. It's hard to believe it was 25 years ago when the Giants won their first Super Bowl, 39-20 over Denver and Pasadena. Phil Simms, the MVP, 22 for 25. Well, 2 months ago, a lot of guys got together to share some of the great memories and tell some unbelievable stories.
Once a Giant, always a Giant. Hey, George. Mark, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. You look great as usual. How you been? Yeah, I've been great, man. Been good.
How you doing? You look good.
Well, thank you.
You haven't got much hair left.
That's my choice.
Good to see you, Mr. Taylor. How you doing, brother? Good.
What's up, baby? How you doing? I'm good, man.
It's good to see Maurice Carthon. Maurice Carthon, a great friend of mine. My running buddy with the Giants in 1986. How you doing?
The whole gang is back up. The whole gang is. Obviously, we want to take this opportunity to thank the classiest organization in the NFL. We want to thank Mrs. Merritt and the Giant organization.
Yeah, I'm very happy that, with the 25th anniversary, we've created some great memories. We've been able to reflect on a lot of things. It's been really, really special.
It's great for me, I'll tell you. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys and that I forgot about, and it's just great to see them. It is.
Being here with all the guys is such a thrill, and it's like being in the hot tub time machine with some of these guys. They haven't changed a bit, and it's been so much fun just hanging out and seeing the guys and just spending time with them. It's a thrill.
It's been a special weekend in celebrating the 1986 Super Bowl champion Giants, a team that captured the hearts of an entire generation.
When I walked into the Legacy Club on Saturday night and started seeing everybody, I just went, wow, I'm so glad we're doing this, to see everybody, to get together one more time and just to have a good time and remember that one time we got it done.
What a reunion, and everyone said the same thing. How you doing? This team really did have chemistry.
Well, they do have chemistry. That's what it takes to be a great team, and the 86 team was awesome. I remember watching them when I was in college, seeing these guys play together, and then seeing them getting together now. They still look great. They look like they can play now, and a couple of tight ends might be needed.
Well, at least you played on the second Super Bowl championship team. And by the way, Neil Diamond sang the anthem at that first Super Bowl in Pasadena. Halftime here in Charlotte with the Panthers leading the Giants 13-10. That's it for the United Halftime Report. United is proud to fly the New York Giants. Back with the second half after these messages.
In Carolina, the Panthers lead the Giants at the half, 13-10. Moments ago, Bruce Beck caught up with Giants head coach Tom Coughlin.
Tom, let's start with your offense. How disappointed are you with the first half?
I'm disappointed with that, but I mean, there's a lot of little things that happen out there offensively that you got to be able to correct. I mean, there were some opportunities there. We let them get away. Everybody's got to do their job. I mean, it's a very tight football game. A lot of young people are going to get a chance to play or a chance to go out here and get a win.
Defensively, 4 sacks, forced a couple of turnovers.
Yeah, we've got the 2 turnovers. We haven't really capitalized on them as well as we should have. We have had some pressure on the quarterback. We've got to continue to do that.
Thanks, Coach. Have a good second half. So Tom Coughlin and the Giants trail by 3. Back to you, Bob.
All right, joined in the booth, of course, by Carl Banks. All right, Carl, I answered some of those questions at Giants on Twitter, and fans really upset about what transpired with the offense. Your take on it. Put a little perspective on what we saw in the first half.
Well, there's an expectation of sloppiness, but also there's a level by which you now have to climb. So, yeah, I think it was disappointing to see the offense ineffective against teams that have not game planned against them. So they're going to have to get better. They'll go back. The good news is their first look in live action. The bad news is they got to start to progress towards the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think you can discount the
fact that they've got a new center in here, Carl, who's been practicing for about a week.
Yeah.
And that is going to take an adjustment. I mean, Devin Thomas on the kickoff return, take it to the back of the end zone, so the Giants will start their own 20-yard line. I mean, this is the first go-around for David Boss at center, and the communication that transpires just up front. We saw, for instance, on that one screen play, Snee went out to block on the screen, and maybe somebody else was supposed to slide over and take that rush. That's communication that will get corrected because Boss is a veteran, and Deal and Snee, McKenzie are veteran guys. So I think that's the least of the concern.
Yeah, it can be rationalized, Bob, but at the end of the day, these two teams have not game planned. So it's all about defeating the guy who's in front of you and executing the most basic of offenses that you're going to see. Just like here, you've got, Ware runs out, he needs to press the blocker, he outruns his blocking there.
So DJ Ware picks up a couple. Giants have Jamon Meredith at the left tackle, and Duque is at the left guard. Booth is at center. Petrus is at the right guard position, and Andrews is the right tackle. Henry Heinowski, the rookie fullback out of Pittsburgh, free agent, is in the ball game for the Giants. He has done some very good things through the first couple of weeks of camp, as noted by the head coach, Tom Coughlin. Rosenfels Hickson again keeps his feet, has a first down to the 34-yard line as we check in with Howard Cross.
Guys, I'm listening to you guys talk about what's going on with the offense. Remember, Coach Coughlin said he was going to have to evaluate on the fly because the defense was going to blitz him about 65% of the time. There's not enough time and not enough practice to be prepared for this. Even though you're running a basic offense, you got to be prepared for blitzes, and you can't do that in the first 7 or 8 days of practice.
Only 5 practices with pads, and he told us today, because that's the way it is now in the preseason. Everyone's just turning guys blitzing 65% of the time. As Ware squeezes off the left side, takes it out to the 39-yard line, and picks up about 4 on the play.
Howard and Bob, the thing that's interesting about that is that the Giants are a high-volume blitz team too, so they get a chance to see blitzes in practice, but it's the little things that Coach Coughlin talked about, and we can't sit here as if this is the 5th game of the season. It is the first game of the preseason, and I'm sure every team will go back and say, here's where we have to correct, and the Giants have to get up to speed with a lot of things. That is evident right now.
Duke Calhoun in the ball game with a wide receiver to the top of your screen. Victor Cruz to the bottom of your screen on a 2nd and 6. Rosenfels pass nearly intercepted, intended for Heinowski, and nearly picked off by Kendrick Burney.
I tell you, this, with the exception of that pass, Rosenfeld has been pretty much on the money with his balls. Now, you can't come out late on the outside of the defense. When you hesitate there, that guy on the outside of you will come and pick that off.
Looked like Heinowski actually played a little defense. Heinowski, outstanding running back, tailback in his high school days in Pennsylvania. He's out of the game as the Giants bring in extra receivers on a 3rd and 6. Rosenfels with time. Victor Cruz with a first down to the 48-yard line, gets stopped by Burney. Victor Cruz spent last year on injured reserve in the preseason last year. Cruz had 15 catches for 297 yards and 4 touchdowns. Had that huge game against the Jets in the first ever football game in the new Meadowlands Stadium in the first week of the preseason last year.
Now here's a guy that's got to prove that he belongs in the regular rotation with wide receivers. That's going to come with consistency, but he has not been a very big contributor on special teams, and that's where your 3rd wide receiver has to be that. He's got to be able to contribute on special teams.
False start. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Jamon Meredith call for the penalty. Well, Carl, we take a look at Victor Cruz out of UMass, New Jersey product last year against the Jets, and the thing that was impressive what he did, here he's working against Drew Coleman, who is a regular player for the Jets, someone that's in their nickel situation, and had a huge game with the 3 touchdown catches.
Bob, it's not a matter of if he can play in this game, is if he can do the things to help his football team. They've got a help wanted poster in several positions in that locker room, and 3rd wide receiver is one, but part of the job description, being able to contribute in other ways when you're not the one of the two.
Another guy I'm anxious to see in games, and he's on the field right now, number 15, Devin Thomas, who was a second-round pick of the Redskins in 08, was with Carolina last year, got waived. He's done some very nice things in camp. I mean, he's loaded with talent. Let's see if he can translate that into game action. 2nd and 13. Rosenfels gets sacked. Thomas Williams came free.
And Devin Thomas was streaking across the middle there. If Sage had another tick to hold the ball, he'd have got it to him. Blitzing late. Well, they just brought 2.
Ware got 1. Nobody got the other guy. Ware got sent, but nobody picked the late blitzer, Thomas Williams. 2nd sack of the ball game for the Panthers. And now the Giants face a 3rd and extremely long. They're back at their own 37-yard line. 3rd and 21. 2 deep safeties for the Panthers. Rosenfels checks it down into the flat, caught by Daniel Coates, former Cincinnati Bengal who was signed recently, and he gets dropped well short of the sticks. Robert McClain on the tackle. Coates spent time with Denver and Tampa last year. 2009 with Cincinnati, started 11 of 16 with 16 catches for 150 yards. So the Giants punt the football away. Giants have been alternating punters throughout the game. This is Dodge. Edwards has had a nice return night. Edwards can't take it outside, and he gets dragged down from behind and tackled. A flag on the play. Andre Brown, the running back, I believe is going to get called for a horse collar. Cannot bring a guy down and drag him down by the back of the jersey.
On the return, personal foul, horse collar number 35 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Here it is. The league is pretty clear on these types of plays.
And you cannot do that. Drag him from behind and down by the back of the jersey. Cam Newton remains in the game. Panthers by 3. Back in Carolina, Bank of America Stadium. 3rd quarter action. Bengals in front of the Giants. Cam Newton remains in the ball game. 5 of 13, 106 yards in the first half. Panthers with a 13-10 lead. They'll start from their own 31-yard line. Newton the throw on first down. Tony Fiammetta, the fullback, takes it out across the 40 to the 44-yard line. Next Sunday night, Tony Romo is back and ready to give the Cowboys a jolt to their season as they take on Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. Then Thursday, September 8th, it's time to get back to football. The season kicks off. Super Bowl champion Packers taking on the Saints and Drew Brees, a matchup of the last 2 Super Bowl champions on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Bob Costas will get everything going with Football Night in America. From the 44, 1st and 10 for Newton and the Panthers. Goodson on the carry. Goodson tackled by Gabe Watson after a gain of a couple. Gabe Watson in his 6th year out of Michigan. Signed as a free agent from Arizona. Watson, former 4th-round draft pick of Arizona, only played in 7 games last year, Carl. But has some good stuff on tape. Tom Coughlin said it's a guy that, you know, I've seen in the past make plays. They're hoping, he said, he's on his 2nd team now.
Yep.
That he'll realize that he's got to step it up.
He's a
space
big,
eater.
Yeah, he is a really big one.
So the Panthers leading the Giants by 3. Goodson on the carry, chased by Hall, knocked down by Ross and Tollefson.
That's a good play by Ross, setting the edge on the corner there with Contain. Good tackle too. You know, Tollefson's the guy. Here he is here. He just runs all the way down the line of scrimmage and doesn't stop until he gets to the ball carrier. Now, that's why he stays on. They find a way to keep him on the roster because of his energy level. Got a motor, not the biggest guy, but he'll give you everything he has, and he plays special teams, Bob.
Yeah, just re-signed in the last week. Fifth-year player out of Northwest Missouri State. 3rd and 4. Newton's pass knocked away by Witherspoon. Did a nice job on Clowney, the intended receiver. So Carolina remains winless on 3rd downs. They're now 0 for 8.
Competed on that one.
Jason Baker will punt. Darius Renaud back deep for the Giants. Renaud acquired in a trade last year from Minnesota. He's had a good camp to this point. It's an area of concern for the Giants, an area in which they really want to improve their return game. False start against the Panthers as the right side of the line moved before the snap.
False start, offense number 47. 5-yard penalty is still forth.
Now, one thing we've had 2 of them in this game, Carl. I should mention it. One of the rule changes is the fact that on all scoring plays, it automatically gets reviewed.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, on the Boley touchdown, it was a pretty simple review. They review the entire play, but that was pretty simple. And even on the Olsen touchdown, so there was no real holdup. Short kick, bounding at the 15. Renaud picks it up at the 6. Nowhere to go. Barnage on the tackle after a 47-yard punt. 7:45 to go here in the 3rd. Giants trailing the Panthers by 3. Panthers lead the Giants 13-10 in the 3rd quarter as we take a look at tonight's drive of the game, brought to you by Chrysler. Jimmy Clausen got the start, off to a rough start. Michael Boley picked 6, but then he dumps it off to a sure-handed guy, D'Angelo Williams, and then Williams in the rain breaks out a nice carry and run, and then finishes things off with an 18-yard touchdown pass to Greg Olsen. That tied the game at 7. Drive of the game brought to you by Chrysler, imported from Detroit. Giants will start inside their own 10 at the 8-yard line. And Sage Rosenfels remains in at quarterback. He's 8 of 11 for 79 yards. Throw on 1st down. Devin Thomas with the catch. McLean on the coverage. It's a pickup of 7. Carl, what is it about Devin Thomas that gives you encouragement of what he could potentially bring here?
Well, you know, the ability to be flexible. I keep saying special teams because guys have to be able to contribute when they're not the 1 and the 2 guy. But his route running, if he gets that accomplished, I think he'll have an opportunity because he has plenty of speed. He has to be an accomplished route runner.
Thomas takes the slant, gets the 1st down to the 22-yard line.
And you saw 2 different routes from him. The first one was an out route. He ran it the way it was supposed to be run. And then he comes back with a precise slant there.
Good body position too, right? So the defender can't work his way around him.
And Sage has been putting the ball on the money.
1st and 10 for the Giants. Now they're looking for Thomas on the deep ball. Gets a step and can't reel it in at the 45-yard line of the Panthers.
Yeah, that was a nice ball there by Sage Rosenfeld. He was able to get off the line of scrimmage, and those are the plays that could make a difference in the confidence that the coaches are showing you.
Went to him 3 times in a row.
Right off his tips. Got to complete the deal.
Not an easy catch by any stretch of the imagination, but one that if you're trying to win a spot and impress a coach, you want to make.
Well, it went through his hands. He created the right situation for that ball to hit him in the hands, and he just wasn't able to complete the process.
Giants running it on a 2nd and 10. That was Charles Scott, who was on the Giants practice squad last year. Entered the league as a 6th-round draft pick of the Eagles last year. Out of LSU, he got the carry. The Giants will face a 3rd down. 2 of 10 on the evening. 3rd and 6 as Charles Scott remains in the ballgame. From the New York 25. Rosenfels with time. Renaud with the catch. And the forward progress should have enough for the 1st down. Carly did a really nice job of getting past the stick, so when he came back to the football, looked like he had enough.
Yeah, and then he kept his knee from going down, too. He spun right out of it towards the 1st down marker here.
Mike Carey is going to call a timeout and ask to bring the sticks out.
There it is there. He just fights, doesn't let that knee go down. Let's see if it was enough.
Not where they're holding the chains. He's going to be short by an inch. Well, I thought he did enough to keep his feet and turn back in, but the spot is what it is. So the Giants have 4th and inches.
See if the Giants elect to go for it here. They don't.
No, they're going to send out the punting unit.
Yes, repetition at that position is more important at this stage. See if these guys can get some consistency going in the punting game and the coverage of the punts.
Weatherford in the punt. Kealoha Polaris in to return it for the Panthers. He is a rookie out of Hawaii. So they continue the alternating of the punters, and now Weatherford gets a look. Polaris outside the numbers from the 23, bobbled it, and then Victor Cruz plants him in the turf here in Carolina. 52-yard punt, no return, and excellent coverage by Victor Cruz. Well, making plays on special teams is how you catch the coach's eye. Victor Cruz did it there.
Toyota's nationwide clearance event is on. Take advantage of the summer's best selection and the year's biggest deals on our most popular models. It's the perfect time to save big on a Toyota, the full-line brand with the lowest ownership costs. For a limited time, get 0% APR on 7 of your favorite Toyota models, like 0% APR for 60 months on Corolla or 0% APR for 60 months on Camry. Toyota's nationwide clearance event ends soon. Hurry in today before time runs out.
Unleash the fastest, most powerful internet available. Wideband internet from Time Warner Cable. We're moving technology forward to bring you back to what matters most.
Ni hao. I'm Max. I'm your new big brother.
New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York is brought to you by Toyota. Get incredible deals during Toyota's nationwide clearance event going on now. Back in Carolina, Panthers leading the Giants 13-10, 5:18 to go in the third. 1st and 10, Carolina from their own 18-yard line. Cam Newton remains in the ballgame as he hands off to Mike Goodson. And Goodson able to fight ahead for a couple extra yards out to the 23-yard line. Gerard Tarrant with the tackle for the Giants. So a gain of 5 on the play for Goodson as Newton getting some quality minutes here. 6 of 15 for 119 yards. He's been sacked twice. From the 23, Newton with time. Newton behind his intended receiver, but a whistle, a flag on the play. Let's see if they get Kenny Ingram for interference or a defensive hold.
He certainly had. He threw his hands up on his helmet as if he knew he made a mistake there.
Illegal contact. Defense number 43. There's a 5-yard penalty and automatic. First down.
There's Kenny Ingram there and trying to find his way on the roster.
Giants defensive coordinator Perry Fuel in his second year as the Giants defensive coordinator. A lot of positives from last year and the fact that they got after the quarterback. They generated 39 turnovers. But they weren't as consistent as he would have liked, nor as the players themselves said.
There are a lot of mental mistakes in clutch situations from this defense, and they get it going good. They just can't relax.
Newton on a 1st and 10, zips it over the middle. Edwards Did not hold on. It's ruled incomplete. Aaron Ross thought he had a strip and a forced fumble, but no, ruled incomplete.
Aaron Ross is getting a nice long look here in terms of playing time, and I think they just want to make sure he's ready because he may not be getting the reps in practice with the first team or enough quality reps. So this will be good for him because they're going to count on him in some of those 3 and 4 wide receiver configurations.
And Edwards never really completed the act of the catch. Didn't have control, so it's incomplete. 2nd and 10. Newton on the screen to Goodson. Ross missed the tackle, and Goodson shouldered out by Tracy. 2 yards short of the first down.
Ross just has got to wrap up, and he's been in the league long enough to know that you can't just throw your body out there. It takes just as much effort and probably opens up your rib cage for injury by throwing your body into someone that big. Here he is. He diagnoses the play perfectly, comes in, and just throws his body in there. You got to spread your arms out. Run into one of those big guys and catch a knee in the side. You have a hip pointer or a rib injury.
Marvin Austin, former North Carolina Tar Heel, in the game for the Giants, wearing number 96, as Newton's pass goes incomplete. You saw Austin chasing that Goodson play down the sideline before. Austin, a 2nd-round draft pick, has not played since the 2009 season, Carl. Ineligible last year with the Tar Heels.
Here's a guy that is a very explosive player, Bob, and they really want him to be a contributor on the inside of the defense too, but you know, a year out of football and then going straight to the pros here, he's learning a lot too.
The nod back deep as Baker just got the punt away, and the ball will be touched down at the Giants' 23-yard line. Tarrant made contact with the punter, but no flag. Giants down by 3 here in the 3rd.
It's Nissan's Model Year-End Sales Event, and we've got better availability of vehicles than Honda or Toyota. So you can save now. Lease Altima $179 or Rogue $219. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your tri-state Nissan dealer. More cars, great offers equals more savings. That's the bottom line.
Want to achieve more with your money? PNC Virtual Wallet gathers your spending and saving in one place. Credit and debit purchases, checks, bills, and other financial information. It lets you see the details, as well as the big financial picture, so you can do more with your money. See what a complete view of your money can do for you at PNCVirtualWallet.com. PNC Bank, for the achiever in you.
It's where we first heard Tiger roar and saw Phil's smooth lefty swing. Don't miss the future of the game at the 2011 U.S. Amateur Championship, beginning August 24th on Golf Channel and continues August 27th on NBC.
Panthers by 3 here in the 3rd. Now it's time for tonight's hookup of the game, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Think back to the first half. Cam Newton with a 30-yard strike to Greg Olsen. Switch to Fios and network ahead. To learn more, visit Verizon.com/getFios. Sage Rosenfeld's in the 2nd half for the Giants. He's going to look at Greg Olsen, Jersey kid who has a touchdown in this ball game. Rosenfeld's in the 2nd half, 6 of 8 for 49 yards. On first down, he'll throw and completes it to his tight end, Bear Pasco, out to the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 23.
Good throw and good catch. That Rosenfeld put that one on the back shoulder, and Bear Pasco showed that he's more than just a blocker.
Giants have in its center right now Chris White, 7th-year pro out of Southern Miss. signed as a free agent and spent time with Seattle, Houston, and Green Bay. Giants will work out of the eye, nowhere to run for Charles Scott.
Bob, that was a jailbreak there. No one got a hand on any defender up front there. They all went through a gap. 1, 2, 3. They all go through. Look at there.
Andre Neblett, second-year player out of Temple by way of Rahway, New Jersey, made the tackle.
It's pretty hard for all of your offensive linemen to miss every single block.
Andrews on the right side, Petrus the right guard, White and Duquay, and Meredith the left tackle. Draw play to Scott, nowhere to run, and Scott dragged down from behind by Terrell McClain, a rookie third-round draft pick out of South Florida. So the Giants will face a 3rd and long with 2:10 to go here in the third quarter.
Wonder what Tom Coughlin's thinking there. He's just got this look on his face. He's saying, hey, my backup quarterback's doing okay. Receivers are okay. What's up front?
I know what he's saying. Men, we're going back to work on Monday.
A lot of opportunities for teaching, I tell you that.
3rd and 9 for the Giants. They do pick up the blitz. Devin Thomas has the first down. Nice job by Charles Scott, Carl, to pick up the blitz and give Rosenfels time to hit Thomas.
And that's the key. He got him lined up right, and he was able to pick up the blitz. And good effort there by Thomas. He can be an explosive guy, this Thomas, and he knew what a yard marker was. Ran a little whip route there, got the shoulders up the field, and dove for the first down.
Kept his balance enough in this slick turf, and then knew where the sticks were and made sure he dove for it. So 1st and 10 at the Carolina 45. Rosenfels over the head of Renaud, incomplete. Well, play the official fantasy game of the NFL. First and only game with in-game video highlights. It's free and easy to play. Fantasy football. Sign up today at NFL.com/fantasy. So the Giants will have a 2nd and 10 at the Carolina 45 with under a minute to go here in the third. Giant only touchdown tonight came on defense. And a Michael Boley interception return for a touchdown. Charles Scott gets a couple inside the 45, call it 3. Kevin Payne on the tackle for Carolina. And the Giants sub in personnel with 35 seconds to go in the third quarter, facing a 3rd and 7. See running back coach Gerald Ingram talking with the rookie Henry Hanaski. Clayton and Renaud go to the top of your screen. Thomas to the bottom of your screen. Andre Brown in a tailback on this 3rd and 7 for Rosenfels and the Giants. Over the middle, intended for Renaud, incomplete. Kendrick Burney got a hand on it, I believe, Carl.
Yeah, he had a step on him, and looks like the ball came late from Sage. He had a pump in there, and by the time the ball got there, it was tipped away. Looks like they're going to go for it, though.
4th and 7. Giants will keep the offense on the field with 10 seconds to go here in the third quarter of play. Panthers have to shuffle in their personnel late as Clayton goes wide to the top of your screen with Renaud in a slot. Duke Calhoun split right, and now we'll get a whistle and a timeout. Carolina.
They're first.
So Ron Rivera trying to get his personnel on the field, couldn't get it in time, so he called the timeout. And is explaining to Mike Carey about the substitution. Well, Giants facing a 4th and 7 here in the late stages of the third, down by 3 in Carolina.
Hi, I'd like a camera caramel mocha iced coffee.
Ah.
Deciding is easy with the new caramel mocha iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. Try this sweet combo today. America runs on Dunkin'.
More destinations, more comfort with Economy Plus and flatbed seats. More ways to earn and use miles. Who's merging isn't nearly as exciting as what's emerging. United. You're going to like where we land.
Vanilla is the most common flavor of ice cream in America. This is the most common luxury car. Coincidence? Infinity, vanilla's polar opposite. Visit the Infinity Limited Engagement Summer Event. Our inventory selection is outstanding. The best offers of the season are now available. Lease an Infinity G25 sedan for $319 per month or get 1.9% APR on all 2011 models.
Chicken salad sandwich from Dunkin' Donuts?
I got a guy.
Who?
The drive-thru guy at Dunkin'.
Everybody's got that guy.
Hurry in for Dunkin's chicken and tuna salad sandwiches. America runs on Dunkin'.
10 seconds to go in the third quarter. Giants facing a 4th and 7 at the Panthers' 42-yard line, trailing 13-10. And after the timeout, Giants said, you know what? We won't go for it. We're going to punt the football away. So Dodge comes in as they continue alternating. Good one by Weatherford on the last attempt. 52-yarder with no return. Dodge. Reverse spin, fair catch called for, bounces out to 5 and into the end zone for a touchback. So it had spin, Carl, but it spun the wrong way.
Yeah, it did. And he's got a little direction going on that punt, too. Maybe that's an area, well, clearly he wants to improve on. The consistency in the directional punts. Not an easy thing to do in this league either.
Cam Newton will come back out. Oh, Duke Calhoun took one on the chin. Good job by the special teams of the Panthers to make sure he wasn't in the play to down it inside the 1. So Newton, 7 of 18, 127 yards so far in the ball game. Jimmy Clausen started. Goodson on the carry. And that's our man with the tackle. Akpakawarak. Ianga gets a tackle to end the third quarter. Preseason game number 1 in Carolina. Panthers in front by 3.
The eyes you're born with are the ones you keep. They don't even grow much. Think about this. Many children may need glasses and not know it because a school vision screening isn't always enough. Shouldn't your child see an eye doctor yearly? Vision is nothing to play with.
If it's on your mind, get it on your TV. Time Warner Cable introduces Remote DVR Manager, now for your iPad. TW Cable TV for iPad. One app, total control.
It's Nissan's Model Year-End Sales Event. And we've got better availability of vehicles than Honda or Toyota. So you can save now. Lease Altima $179 or Rogue $219. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer today. More cars, great offers equals more savings. That's the bottom line.
I got this new City thank you card and started earning loads of points.
Okay, we'll leave that there for now. Split this side. You got a weather balloon with points. Yes, I did.
Points I could use for just about anything.
There it is.
So I used mine to get a whole new perspective.
The new City Thank You Premier Card gives you more ways to earn points. What's your story? City can help you write it.
Think about this. Eye problems can affect learning and behavior throughout your child's life. But a comprehensive yearly eye exam can change that. For a list of local eye doctors, go to thinkaboutyoureyes.com. Vision is nothing to play with.
Back in Carolina as we start the fourth quarter. Bob Papa along with Carl Banks. Goodson caught the football up at the but could not recover the fumble.
Yeah, good hustle to the ball there, though, Bob. They got a lot of guys around the football.
Fumble forced from behind by Sims.
Herslick couldn't get his hands on it. That's just like a number 58, too, you know. Fumble comes to him, just couldn't get his hands on it.
David Sims,
me included.
David Sims, a rookie free agent out of Iowa, forced it. Barnage with the tackle, with the catch. Come on, Carl, you weren't that bad.
Yeah, well, I had a few go through my hands, too.
It's because you had all those pads on.
Yeah. Good to see Herslick around the football, though.
A rookie free agent out of Boston College. A chance to ride the elevator with him yesterday and chat with him for a brief minute. Made an unbelievable comeback from Ewing sarcoma, which is a rare form of bone cancer. Missed the entire 2009 season at Boston College. 2008, 110 tackles, 6 interceptions, and saw him down at the Senior Bowl. Had a chance to meet him for the first time, and tremendous job in his battle back, and now playing in an NFL game. Tom Coughlin mentioned that there's some things that he's done so far in practice on special teams, and the things that he's been pleased with what he's seen so far.
Yeah, he has. This guy has some ability.
37-yard punt. Herslick and the Giant defense to the bench. Offense back out on the field, down 3.
Gonna go get a soda. Be right back.
Santa, my man.
Making a Pepsi.
Pepsi?
Yeah, Pepsi.
But Mr. Claus, I thought you had to deal with, you know.
I'm on vacation. Want to have a little fun.
Summertime is Pepsi time. Naughty.
Nice. Looking for life insurance can feel like a jungle of ifs. If I'll finally get the coverage my family deserves. If it's something we can afford. To steer clear of the confusion, go to MetLife.com. In less than 5 minutes, you'll get straight answers, like how much life insurance you really need and how much it costs. So no matter where you end up buying, you'll make the best decision for your family. Get guarantees for the if in life from MetLife. Call 1-888-MET-LIFE for your free quote with no pressure or obligation.
Some people say good things come to those who wait. Truth is, good things come to those who work.
This is LA, and this is what we do.
Now lease the all-new 2011 Chrysler 300 Touring for $339 a month for well-qualified lessees.
Back in Charlotte, North Carolina, fourth quarter action. Giants and the Carolina Panthers. Sage Rosenfels is done for the evening. 13 of 19, 129 yards. Ryan Perilou in the ball game for the Giants. Perilou, a much ballyhooed high school football player, highly recruited, U.S. Army All-American Bowl player. Went to LSU, finished up at Jackson State. He's got a big arm, and he shows it off there as he hooks up with Clayton. There is a flag on the play.
Yeah, he threw a nice ball on that one, Bob.
Well, I've seen him throw some in practice. He hit Jarrell Jernigan on a deep post last week. And, I mean, he zipped that thing downfield, and nice trajectory and everything else. And he's an interesting player as far as what he might be able to bring as we take a look at Mike Carey and the call.
Pass interference. Defense, the safety, is declined. The play results first down.
Sits there, shows a little play fake, sets himself in the pocket real nice, climbs in there and throws a nice post corner route. And good job there too, coming underneath.
By Michael Clayton. Yeah. Remember, Michael Clayton was the 15th overall player selected in the 2004 draft. Had 6 games with the Giants last year.
Offense number 48.
Is the Giants
5-yard penalty is still first.
Get called for a false start. That's Christian Hopkins, a free agent out of Toledo, a tight end. Pass play to Clayton went for 47 yards, as we'll take a look at Hopkins going on 2 when the snap count was 3.
Momentum killer there too.
Giants have James Brewer, who was selected in the 4th round out of Indiana, in now at left tackle. Clayton goes in motion on 1st and 15. Andre Brown on the carry inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Carl, Andre Brown was the Giants' 4th round draft pick in 2009. Had a lot of hopes for him coming out of NC State. In a non-contact drill, he suffered an Achilles injury, missed that entire season. Had a pretty good preseason last year for the Giants. Then wound up going to Denver and then Washington. But Tom Coughlin said he actually looks faster now than he did pre-injury.
Yeah, and that's a testament to his work. And that was good vision there on that last run.
2nd and 9. Hynowski with the catch. Short gain on the play as the tackle was made by Chris Jackson, 4th-year player out of LSU. Ryan Perlew at LSU and Jacksonville State, 63%, 27 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. So the Giants face a 3rd and 7. 4 minutes into this 4th quarter, down by 3. Only Giant touchdown tonight came via the defense. Blitz on Perlew. Can't get it out to the flat. The pass goes incomplete. Thomas Williams got the hit on the quarterback. Pass intended for Daniel Coates.
Yeah, they had them all picked up, and the last blitzer had to be the quarterback's responsibility. So he's got to get that ball out of his hands. They brought them all and picked all but one, which meant that when you're in 4 wide receivers, the quarterback's responsible for that last one.
So they'll send Lawrence Tynes out, who has missed from 55 and 37. This will be a 44-yarder. Did connect on one from 38. And that one gets blocked out of bounds.
And Tynes is holding his knee.
There's only one kicker on the roster. And Lawrence Tynes is hurt. Giant medical staff. Ronnie Barnes, the head trainer for the Giants, out talking to Lawrence Tynes on the blocked field goal. Giant medical staff looking at the right leg of Lawrence Tynes after his field goal attempt at 44 yards was blocked. Carl, right up the middle came Sean Ware.
Yeah, there was no one remotely with a hand up there, and he gets the leg right as it plants back into the ground. Makes it hyperextend a bit.
So off the block field goal with Derek Anderson in at quarterback, Josh Vaughn gets the carry, but obviously there's a flag on the play. Giant fans are concerned about Lawrence Tynes right now. Tynes had a really good year last year, 19 of 23 on his field goals. He hit all of his extra points.
And that is, it's inexcusable to allow a basic rusher to get through there. Normally they come from the outside. You've got to get, it's the end and the guy next to him. They've got to be able to get an arm up just to stunt that. And it's the most basic blocking scheme. It doesn't change much.
I mean, he just stepped over the blocker who didn't even move.
You got to be able to be, you got to be tall in the hole.
Derek Anderson in at quarterback. Anderson made a Pro Bowl with the Cleveland Browns last year. Horrible year. in Arizona as he hooks up with Charlie Martin out to the 39-yard line. Jaquan Williams on the tackle. One more look at this, Carl.
I mean, it's just not pretty. He walks right through there and blocks it and just keeps going, and that'll get somebody fired.
Carl, it looked like the rookie James Brewer, number 73, didn't make any kind of move at all to impede the progress of Ware.
Well, it's inside gap first. And obviously, he didn't step down, and the inside guy didn't put his hand up, and it's just inexcusable.
2nd and 6 for the Panthers. And Justin Tratow made the tackle as we send it down to Bruce Beck for an update on Lawrence Tynes.
Bob, Lawrence Tynes is headed to the locker room right now. They say it's a thigh injury. I heard him come off and say, hey guys, I hit it really good, so it was a shame that unfortunately that one got blocked, but he's walking under his own strength. Hopefully it's good news for Giants fans, but it looks like a thigh injury, and we'll keep you posted, guys.
All right, Bruce, well, the fact that Tynes was able to make a little joke about it, about how well he had hit the kick, would lead you to believe that it might not be as serious as it could have been. But he'll get that checked out as they run it again with Vaughn and Justin Tratow and Dave Sims on the tackle. Tratow, number 69, played his high school ball at Don Bosco Prep out of Ramsey, New Jersey. Rookie out of Florida.
You know, and during all of the discussion on Tynes, you had a few plays with Herzlich in there. He's very active tonight.
So the Panthers with a 1st and 10 for quarterback Derek Anderson as you get a look at Herzlich playing with the 3rd group. Anderson with some time, nearly intercepted and then caught by Martin. Gain of 27. So a break that time for the Panthers and Derek Anderson, and he winds up getting a completion to Martin.
Boy, right through the hands of the defender.
Would-be Tureen had a chance to pick it off and didn't.
Yeah, right through his hands.
Turns into a big play for the Panthers. Tureen, a practice squad player with the Giants last year, signed as a free agent out of Louisville. So from the Giants, 34, 1st and 10. Vaughn again, and Vaughn nowhere to go this time as David Sims, the rookie free agent out of Iowa State, made the tackle.
You know, for the Panthers, I'm sure Anderson really wants to prove to all of his skeptics that he wasn't a one-year wonder, that he is worthy of Pro Bowl status. And you know, he's going to be backing up. If he makes the team, he's going to be backing up Cam Newton. But boy, he's got to show that he's got starter kind of skills here.
He was in Cleveland, and they drafted Brady Quinn. Throws a little swing pass. Pilares in for the touchdown. 35 yards for the rookie 5th-round pick out of Hawaii.
You know, the interesting thing is these young players out here on the field, they're playing it like it's college, and you know, angles are bad. You get a guy to the football, he diagnoses it right away. Look, he just goes and whips on it.
That was David Sims, and he got beat by Pilares.
He was there, Bob. He just took a bad angle, and in this league, the speed of the game, you've got to have some level of anticipation.
Panthers will send out Adi Kunalik to kick the extra point. Kunalik played his college ball at Nebraska. The rookie Pilares with the 35-yard touchdown, and the Panthers push their lead to 10. 20 to 10 with 7:15 to go in the ball game. So Derek Anderson comes in and finds Pilares for the 35-yard touchdown. New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York, brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories and maximum Pepsi taste. The official soft drink of the New York Giants. And by MetLife. MetLife brings you closer to your favorite team. Go to MetLifeCentral.com to find out how. Now Derek Anderson talking with quarterbacks coach Mike Shula, throws a 35-yard touchdown pass to the rookie Ayaloa Pilaris, 5th round pick out of Hawaii. And Carolina's lead is now 10. Adi Kanalik with the kickoff. Devin Thomas on the return for the Giants. Submarine right at the 20-yard line. R.J. Stanford on the tackles. The Giants will send their offense back out on the field, trailing by 10 here in the 4th quarter in the preseason opener in Carolina. Derek Anderson and Cam Newton share a little bump and a touchdown. Back in Carolina, Giants back on offense on their own 20-yard line with Ryan Perrilloux at quarterback, down by 10. Andre Brown on the carry. Picks up 9 on the play.
Good vision again on that cut, and good patience there too by Brown, Bob. And
for more on Andre, let's set it down to Bruce.
How did he spend the lockout time, Bob? He was an intern with a AA baseball team in North Carolina, the Carolina Mudcats. It's the Reds affiliate in the Southern League. He said he's trying to build his resume for a second career.
But he can't hit the curveball. And he's got nowhere to run here, and he's going to lose 5 yards on the play.
Can I come back in here?
There's just nowhere to go, Bruce.
Well, Bob, the thing about him, though, that I really like is he's a study in perseverance. This guy was released by the Giants, Denver, Indianapolis, Carolina, Denver again, and Washington. I counted like 15 different transactions during his career, but this guy is hanging in there. He's come back from the ruptured Achilles, and as you said earlier, he feels faster than he ever did before.
I remember seeing him down at the Senior Bowl, and when the Giants drafted him, I said, wow, that's a good get in the 4th round. Then, of course, he had that Achilles injury, and now trying to make it back with the Giants. Perrilloux under pressure, zips it over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for Jarrell Jernigan. So after a 9-yard run on 1st down, a loss of 5 on a run and an incomplete pass, and the Giants will have to punt again. Steve Weatherford in the alternating punting situation.
Well, the good news is with the lack of 3rd down conversions, the Giants are getting a lot of good looks at the punting game.
That is true. Certainly plenty of reps and looks for both guys. Weatherford sends Pilaris inside the 25, mishandled it, but recovers it after a 49-yard punt. It's time for tonight's Call of the Game, brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Clausen on the first series of the game. Under some pressure, intercepted. Michael Boley's going to go for the Giants' first touchdown of the preseason, 55 yards. Track the Giants with NFL Mobile. Text NFL to 8915 to get NFL Mobile only from Verizon, the official wireless provider of the New York Giants. Michael Boley, that 55-yard interception return for a touchdown on the Giants' first defensive series. Unfortunately, Carl, for the Giants, that's their only touchdown tonight. Jimmy Clausen and Derek Anderson have thrown touchdown passes in this game for Carolina. Now handed off on a 1st and 10. And that's Terrell Sutton. Not much of a gain on the play. Tratow on the tackle. Giants fans, for exclusive post-game reaction, log on to Giants.com and join the conversation. Follow us on Twitter @Giants and on Facebook.com/New York Giants. Approaching 5 minutes to go here in the preseason opener. Giants are back in action a week from this Monday at the new Meadowlands Stadium as they'll take on Lovie Smith's Chicago Bears.
Playoff team, and Probably hungry to get back to that championship game.
False start against the Panthers on the line of scrimmage.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still second.
Carl, let me ask you this. Obviously, there's certain things in this game when you're going to look at it from the Giants' standpoint. You're going to be pleased about the pressure on the quarterback, force some turnovers, so on and so forth. But for the things that you're not happy with, how do you not allow yourself to get too angry when you see some things that shouldn't be happening?
Well, you know, the bottom line is that you can sum it up and say there's a lot of work to be done, and they have to get to it as they move towards the opening game. The bottom line, Bob, there's enough where you can just chalk it up. That's a good play there. Where you can just chalk it up to just not having your group together. It's easy to say that, but some things you would expect that they would be able to accomplish, and you know, there's work to be done, to say the least.
Brian Witherspoon broke up that last pass, so it'll be 3rd and 14 for the Panthers.
It's hard. I guess it's hard for a coach. You got 11 practices.
5 in pads.
Yeah, so it's pretty hard for a coach to come into a meeting room and scream like he's got a team that's been working on this over and over again. They just had 11 days to work on it, but so did the other teams. They just have to figure out how to get some of these things fixed. A lot of coaching opportunities, I tell you that.
Well, I mentioned the Giants return to action a week from this Monday night to take on the Chicago Bears in a Monday night game. Our next telecast on NBC4 New York will be the bragging rights game as the Giants host the Jets Saturday, August the 27th here on NBC4 New York. Giants will get a look at one of their former teammates, Plexico Burress.
Yeah. Well, this is a year where the bragging rights will go for preseason, and then they'll have an opportunity to face each other again in the regular season.
Yeah, on Christmas Eve. So looking forward to the preseason showdown between the Giants and the Jets.
In 2 weeks, 2 teams.
I know it's Rex being Rex, but this town still belongs to Big Blue.
It's time to talk the talk.
We have a saying here, talk is cheap, play the game.
Get ready, New York.
Last year, Eli Manning nearly had his head separated from his body in that game. Remember, he took that crazy hit, suffered the laceration on the forehead.
Yeah.
Not the kind of start Eli wanted here tonight. Offense struggled. Tom Coughlin wanted to see more production, but it's that offensive line and some of the new pieces and adjustments that they've made part of the growing pains in building toward the start of the regular season in Washington. Renard on the return. Renard slips and falls at the 41-yard line. 48-yard punt by rookie Anthony Santella. 11-yard return for Renard. You know what also, too, Carl, the other thing that you see, when you start playing the preseason games, guys that look good in camp, in practice against their own team, how do you translate that against other guys that are playing at a speed of desperation as well?
Well, because you kind of get used to the guy you go against every day, and you figure out how to beat him, but you have to really just be on the fly and really motivated to go when you're going against someone else, because this is your first time seeing them.
Perlew completes the pass to Daniel Coates. Plus, you've got a game, you got a coach getting the play in, and you try to simulate this in practice.
Sure.
But you know what? If the play clock buzzes and you don't get the play off and it's another second or two, you continue to play.
Right.
You got to get it off, or else a yellow flag's coming out from Mike Carey. So it adds a whole different level of pressure when you're actually playing in the game. On a 2nd and 2 for Perlew. He's under pressure, fires it. Jernigan with the catch, and he's got a giant first down into Panther territory. It's a gain of 16.
Well, one thing to this point, Bob, in the game, the ball security has been good by the Giants. So that's been a point of emphasis, given all the giveaways that they had last year.
Draw play to Darrell Scott, the rookie out of Maryland, and a 7th-round draft pick, as we check in with Howard Cross.
Guys, I know that they didn't practice a lot this time, and I know that, you know, Coach said organized chaos, but these guys have got to pick it up. There's an opportunity here for a lot of players at the receiver position, the linebacker position, and D-line to make this team. That's what you got to do in these situations. Take advantage of this.
Perillou's pass incomplete, intended for Todd Watkins. And listen, the truth of the matter, too, is, Carl, if you don't perform and you're in a position group that might be a little deep, you ain't getting picked up by somebody else.
No.
And B, if you're not performing, the Giants pro personnel department, they check the waiver wire. They'll look to see who's free, and if they feel that they can bring someone in that's better than you.
Yeah, they normally do, and they get all the films of all the preseason games, and they look at who the top performers are for the other teams as well.
3rd down for Perilou and the Giants. There's a flag on the play as he dumps it off to Coates, who's going to be held up about a yard short of the 1st down with 2:55 to go in the ball game.
Encroachment on defense there, it looks like. You know, it's enough if you thought Giants fans and
offside defense number 61, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Giants fans coming into this game with everything that has been going on have been concerned. I can't imagine what the blogs are going to look like after this game.
Well, that's what fans do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We debate things, we talk about things, but Tom Coughlin, what he does, he doesn't read anything. He just goes back to work and figures out a way to make it better.
Well, he's a realist. He's the one who's got to fix it. He's got to get his team to correct mistakes and doesn't have time to worry about what the naysayers or those who love him.
On a 3rd and short, the pass for Coates about a 1.5 yards short, with Tynes in the locker room with that injury to his right leg on the blocked field goal. The Giants have to go for it on 4th down. They don't have anybody to kick. They only have 1 kicker on the roster.
Well, he did mention that Matt Dodge can kick off. I don't know if he's a field goal kicker or not.
Perilou, pass deflected, incomplete, intended for Jernigan. Tommy Duhart knocked it down at the line. Well, let's take a look at tonight's hit of the game, brought to you by Hewlett-Packard. Duke Calhoun trying to cover a punt. Got laid out by Michael Greco, who was actually part of the Giants roster last year in training camp before he suffered a knee injury. Rock back to school with HP DV6T laptop. It beats audio, squad speakers, and Blu-ray at a price that'll blow you away. Everybody on HP. Chris Snee and David Deal watching teammates finish out preseason game number 1. Inside handoff, Terrell Sutton takes it out across the 35-yard line. Spencer Pasinger, the rookie free agent out of Oregon, made the tackle. Pasinger's someone that Tom Coughlin noted to us that has done some pretty good things before he got nicked up during training camp. That takes us to the 2-minute warning here in Charlotte. Panthers in front of the Giants by 10. And Jason Pierre-Paul singing a little Sweet Caroline here in Carolina as we take a look at tonight's player of the game, brought to you by PNC, and it is the 2nd-year defensive end out of South Florida. Big night for JPP. Couple of sacks in the ball game on Jimmy Clausen. Was all over the field. And he's the player of the game, brought to you by PNC for the Achiever in You. 7 tackles on the night. You know, with this whole OCU Manura contract saga that's been going on, and then got checked out with his knee, went down to Atlanta. That got checked out. His agent said he might be at practice on Monday. That kid ain't waiting for anybody.
No, he's not. And the reality is Jason Pierre-Paul is just scratching the surface and what he can do. He has got freakish abilities and just now starting to learn the game a bit. So You know, I'm sure the Giants would love to have O.C. Umenyiora, but he needs to, if he's going to be in camp, get in there and be a contributor to the team.
Under a minute 30 to go in the ball game. Brandon Jacobs, limited action tonight. Had a couple nice runs for the Giants. There's Jaquan Williams, rookie 6th round pick out of South Florida, as the Panthers will just take a knee and run out the clock. And a good night for a new head coach, Ron Rivera, as he gets his first victory. Tomorrow night on Mic'd Up, Giants wide receiver Dominic Hickson joins Bruce Beck in the studio following the late local news on NBC4 New York at 11:30 p.m. Don't want to miss that. Quiet night for Mario Manningham. Zach Diassi and the Giants preseason game number 1 almost officially in the books. Plenty of things to fix and correct as they'll return back to practice on Monday at the Timex Performance Center. So Derek Anderson takes a knee for the final time. Big night for Jason Pierre-Paul with the 7 tackles, 2 sacks. Ron Rivera gets the first win and a handshake from Giants head coach Tom Coughlin. Sage Rosenfels did some good things in his backup role. Mark Herzlich got a chance to play in his first NFL game and made a couple tackles for the Big Blue. Once again, the final score. The Carolina Panthers beat the New York Giants 20-10. Don't forget, Sunday Night Football returns a week from tomorrow, August the 21st. Preseason action between the San Diego Chargers and Dallas Cowboys. And our next preseason game 2 weeks from tonight, August the 27th. The Giants and Jets in their annual preseason get-together. So for Carl Banks, Howard Cross, Bruce Beck, and our entire crew, I'm Bob Papa. Good night from Charlotte, North Carolina.